just 10 minutes, the New York Mets in San Diego, coming to you from the West Coast. The pregame show brought to you by Jimmy's Backyard. Why look all over town for a good restaurant when it's right at Jimmy's Backyard? Now let's go out to Lindsey Nelson.
This is Lindsey Nelson on the field here at San Diego. The New York Mets are starting up an 11-game road trip, and we're talking to the newest of the New York Mets, Lenny Randle. Lenny, welcome to the New York Mets.
Thank you, Lindsey.
You got into San Diego when?
Last night.
And it's been a busy time, hasn't it?
It's been hectic. It's been beautiful, too, though.
You met a lot of people. You had a press conference today.
Right. This morning, I guess maybe 15 people locally and nationally have been here. And we talked about the situation with the trade and all that, and it's been good.
You're a little out of breath because you just took your first turn at bat, batting with the extra men here before the ball game tonight, and a run around the ballpark. Are you in shape?
I'm ready. I've been working in Arizona and Tempe with, high schools and kids and football players in the National League. Everybody's been a help to me. It's been beautiful the way the response has been in that area and across the nation. I'm just quite grateful that I've taken a good frame of mind about it, and it's nice to know that there are some people out there that are concerned.
Well, I'm sure they are. And for the benefit of any Met fans, what we're talking about, and we'll only bring it up this one time, is the fact that Lenny Randle, as you probably know, had a problem with the Texas Rangers, and Frank Lucchese, they had an altercation. But you take the attitude, I'm told, that that's all behind you, and you're just going to let that handle itself the best way you can.
In fact,
come to Sears Paint Department and save on exterior paints and Sears' best driveway coating and filler. After the toughest winter in many a year, your house and driveway may need a thorough going over. You can save $4 a gallon on Sears' best exterior flat or exterior gloss house and trim latex paint. Now through Saturday. They're only $9.99 each. Also save $3 on a 5-gallon can of Sears' best coating and filler. They're just $9.99 each, too. Coating and filler sale ends May 28th. Come to Sears and save.
I don't want to pretend you never even asked about the question.
That's a good way to do it, Lenny. It surely is. Now, about your baseball playing, tell me a little about your background. I know that you know at least one New York Met because you were at Arizona State at the same time Craig Swan was there.
Right. Swan and I played 2 years together at Arizona State under Bobby Winkles, who's the third base coach with the San Francisco Giants. There are quite a few players that I played with at one time that are in the National League, but on the Mets, I don't know, but I guess 2 guys, Leo Foster and Craig Swan. But I feel everybody's been receptive. It's been a good feeling. It's kind of nice. You know?
How do you feel about playing baseball in New York City?
I haven't played there yet. I'm excited to be in a Met uniform. I played against the Yankees in New York.
Right, of course, yeah.
And, of course, we did play in Shea year before last prior to the new stadium being built in the Bronx. It's going to be tremendous to know how receptive responses the fans will be in New York because they are totally abreast of baseball and they appreciate exciting baseball. And I hope to give them a hustling Lenny Randle type of baseball, and I hope they're appreciative of my talent.
I'm sure they will be. And then now you're a man of many talents. You're not a one-position ball player, and into the bargain, you're a switch hitter.
Yes, I've been blessed. God's been good to me. I've been able to play 7 positions in baseball, and I would like to play 1 or maybe 2. But it's been to the advantage of the organization that I was with to use me as such. So if they plan to use me that way here, I guess I'll just have to live with that, as long as it's a decent job to bring us in it, to bring about a winning way for a season.
I know you got to go up and hit, so if you will, go right ahead, and then we'll catch you for a few more words in a minute. This is Lindsey Nelson talking to. We'll be back in just a moment right after this message.
Turn your restaurant doldrums into an exciting dining experience. Jimmy's Backyard is a warm, friendly place where you can partake of an enjoyable dinner in an atmosphere of quiet conviviality. The menu overflows with seafood varieties. Think about the thrill of being presented with a baked stuffed lobster. Beautiful to the eye, delectable to the taste. Consider their surf and turf, created to give you an exciting escapade in dining. And salads, prepared with the respect and tender, loving care salads require to be freshly delicious. The many varieties of seafoods and steaks, Jimmy's Backyard prepares them to entice, excite, and invite you. Just ask Peter, the maitre d'. He'll suggest a meal that your taste buds will relish. He might even surprise you with a special creation of his own. Jimmy's Backyard, 415 Main Street, Port Washington, on the beautiful shores of Manhasset Bay. An easy 10 minutes from the Long Island Expressway. Jimmy's Backyard. They know they're a very special restaurant because they cater to their customers with pride and elegance in food, service, and decor. Call Peter for further information. and reservations. 516-767-6070. Jimmy's Backyard, 415 Main Street, Port Washington. 516-767-6070. Now back again to Lindsey Nelson.
We're talking again to Lenny Randall here at San Diego Stadium before tonight's game between the New York Mets and the San Diego Padres. Lenny, the New York Mets fans would like to know everything they can know about you, about your background, about your family, about where you grew up. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in California, in Compton. I was born in Long Beach, California, and I've lived there 18 years, and I left there, went to Arizona State University, and from then on, it's been a lot of traveling and a lot of baseball.
When a fella goes to Arizona State and he's had an athletic background, you usually figure he picked Arizona State because it's a great baseball school. Is that the primary?
Well, I was a football and a baseball player. I'm the little guy that nobody thought would be able to play football, but luckily I came through it without any injuries. And baseball was my first love because I was drafted out of high school as a shortstop by the St. Louis Cardinals, but I went on to Arizona State to get involved in that athletic program there.
I remember you as a punt returner at Arizona State.
Right.
And if you played for Frank Kush, you're used to a little discipline, aren't you?
Oh, he had a lot of discipline, him and Winkles both.
Now, when did you decide that you thought you'd be able to make a living playing baseball as a professional baseball player? Was that in college?
Well, I had you fill out these applications and stuff in junior high school. You think, well, what do you want to be, a doctor, lawyer, or Indian chief, or whatever?
Right.
And I put down a Major League Baseball player in the 8th grade at that time, and the dream came true my junior year in college.
Absolutely.
So it's been, a lot of luck and a lot of preparation and a lot of time spent for that.
When you were growing up and you were following Major League Baseball in the papers or on television or wherever, who were your favorite ball players? Most of us had heroes as we were coming up. Who were the ball players that you liked to follow? Who do you remember?
Well, being in Los Angeles, naturally, the Dodgers were very popular.
Right.
They had, Willie Davis and Maury Wills, and they played. I could identify with guys like Maury Wills because I said, well, I'm a little guy and he's a little guy, and
you can run.
I can run and he runs. I hope I can do that when I get in the big leagues.
Right.
So I try to pattern myself like him, and let's say Matty Alou and Cesar Tovar.
Right.
They bring exciting baseball to the fans. The fans like that. They like the guy that can create some things, make things happen. So I try to pattern myself toward that type of play, and I hope that I've tried to be that way in the last 7 years as a professional ball player.
As a professional ball player, you've always been able to hit for a pretty good average.
Yeah, I try to use my ability, try to stay within my ability to try and not go beyond that. There are some times in a career where a player tends to forget that, and you will be reminded by a bad average or a bad experience with certain people who know that you're not playing like you should be, or you're not doing the right thing. So it's your job to correct. It's your job to correct yourself, and it's their job to try to help you. Sometimes you won't listen because you think your way is right, and then you learn from it and go, "I'm sorry, I didn't listen to you. It's too late now, but from now on I will." So I've learned a lot in the last 7 years as a professional, and I'm going to try to put it all to use.
Now you've played the infield, you've played the outfield. Any feelings about that? I mean, are you willing to play any position that way?
Well, I don't know what my role will be as a Met. That's
right.
That's what it was as a Ranger, to play maybe 7 days at third base and 100 games at second base and 20 games at center field and 1 game catching, whatever. But, I don't know. I don't think it'll be that way here because there are more stronger positions, stable players.
Right.
So I don't think I'll be as mobile with an organization like this, but I'm not a prophet. I'm just assuming that what I do see, and I've gone on past experience, that it would be a little different here.
Well, Lenny, it's certainly a pleasure to talk to you, and want to thank you. I know it's been a hassle for you, your first day, and especially we want to thank you for taking time to talk.
Thanks a lot, Lindsey.
Lenny Randall. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We've been talking to Lenny Randall, the newest of the New York Mets, who arrived in San Diego last night. He had a press conference here this morning, and of course there were questions. As he said when we were talking to him, he's going to pretend that there were no questions about his altercation with Frank Lucchesi, the manager of the Texas Rangers, which led to his suspension and his ultimate acquisition by the New York Mets. We invite you now to stay tuned for the first game of the road trip. It's the New York Mets against the San Diego Padres here in San Diego, California. John Madlock's going to be pitching for the New York Mets here tonight. So stay tuned for the play-by-play on WNEW 1130, the home of the Mets.
Now through the family. Rods and reels, tents, tackle boxes and baseball gloves, boats and baseball bats, golf clubs, and more. For instance, save $3 on infielder and outfielder gloves. At $11.99, these quality gloves are just in time for the opening of the Little League season. Or save $24 on a set of Johnny Miller irons by Wilson. They're only $106. Come to see us during Sears' end-of-the-month sale and save.
The New York Mets are on the air.
Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. They're right on Mets. Meet the Mets. Bring your kiddies and bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really fun.
At San Diego Stadium in San Diego, California, it's the New York Mets meeting the San Diego Padres. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, the crowd rising at San Diego Stadium for our national anthem. San Diego Stadium, it's the New York Mets meeting the San Diego Padres. Tonight's game is brought to you by Household Finance. Come on in to HFC, where people use our money to get the most out of life. By Schaefer Beer, your last one tastes as good as your first. Astoria Federal Savings, now over $1 billion strong. Getty Premium and Getty Unleaded Regular, the higher octane gasoline with a lower price. By Dairy Lee, brought to you by the good folks of Dairy Lee, famous over 50 years for fresh dairy products. By Toyota, you asked for it, the New York Mets, you got it. You asked for quality-built cars and trucks, the 77 Toyotas, you got it. And by Channel, it's a whole lot more than a lumber store. All our sponsors are pleased to bring you Mets baseball on WNEW 1130. Well, hi, everybody. This is Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kainer, greeting you from San Diego Stadium and tonight's game between the New York Mets and the San Diego Padres. It is a beautiful evening in San Diego. Not a cloud in the sky and the temperature close to 70 degrees. Tonight's broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of the New York Mets and radio station WNEW, and is authorized under radio rights granted by the Mets solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Mets is prohibited. Any commercial use or other use of the program is also prohibited unless authorized in writing by the New York Mets. Former Met Roger Craig, now the pitching coach of the Padres, meeting at home plate with Coach Tom Burgess of the New York Mets. The starting pitcher in the opening game of this three-game series for the New York Mets, left-hander John Matlack, and on the mound for San Diego, right-hander Rick Sawyer. We'll have the starting lineups for you in a moment, right after this message.
Schaefer beer, consistently great Schaefer. From first beer to your last, it flows straight to your thirst. Beer after beer, the same great tasting Schaefer. The last one.
There will be a very large crowd for the opening game of the series tonight in San Diego. And to check us out on the lineups and batting orders for the game, here's Ralph Kaner.
All right, Bob Murphy, for the Mets, Lee Mazzilli will lead off. He'll be in center field. Batting second and playing second base, Felix Millan. Batting third and playing right field, Bruce Beauclair. Batting fourth and playing first base, Dave Kingman. Batting fifth, the left fielder, John Milner. Batting sixth and playing third base, Roy Steger. The seventh batter will be the catcher, John Stearns. Bud Harrelson batting eighth and playing shortstop, and John Matlack, the pitcher, batting ninth. For the San Diego Padres, the leadoff batter will be the left fielder, Merv Rettenman. Batting in the second position and playing second base, Mike Champion. Batting third, the right fielder, Dave Winfield. Batting fourth and catching, Gene Tennis. Batting fifth and playing center field, George Hendricks.
And now,
batting sixth, the first baseman, Mike Ivey. The seventh batter will be the third baseman, Doug Rader. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, Dave Roberts. And the pitcher, Rick Sawyer, batting in the ninth position. Now the Padres have taken the field. Umpires for the game tonight, Ed Sudol behind home plate, Dick Stella, the umpire at first base, Bruce Fromming, the umpire at second, and Terry Tata, the umpire at third. First game of a three-game series. Tomorrow night will be on the air at 9:55, and it will be Tom Seaver in the mound. Tom, with a record of 3 wins and no losses, will be opposed by Randy Jones, who has won 1 and lost 3. Jones, the Cy Young Award winner of last year, pitching for the Padres. On Sunday, it'll be Craig Swan against Bob Shirley. And then the Mets go to Los Angeles and play the Dodgers on Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. And they'll have Kuzman, Espinosa, Matlack, and Seaver set up for the Dodgers, who are tearing it up in the Western Division. The Dodgers have a record of 15-3. They're 6.5 games ahead of San Francisco. San Diego in 6th place, 8.5 games out. Pittsburgh leads in the National League. Virtual tie with the St. Louis Cardinals, but percentage points ahead. In 3rd place, Montreal, a half game back. The Cubs are in 4th place, a game and a half out. Mets are in 5th. They are 3 games out. In Philadelphia, they won last year in the Eastern Division in the National League, and they have a record of 5 wins and 9 losses, and they are 3.5 games behind. It's a natural turf infield and outfield here at San Diego Stadium. Field dimensions 330 down each line, 370 in left center field and right center field, 410 feet to straightaway center field, and it's just about a perfect night for baseball here in San Diego. As you probably heard on the pregame show, Lenny Randall has joined the ball club. He has signed a 5-year contract. He is available. He's in uniform, but the manager, Joe Frazier, said he probably would not play because he has not seen any actual action for 30 days. Now Lee Mazzilli coming up to the batter's deck and coming in here for the play-by-play, Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Ralph Kaner. Hello again, everybody. Switch hitter Lee Mazzilli coming around to lead it off now. He's hitting .204 for the year, 2 runs batted in. And it's Rick Sawyer on the mound for the San Diego Padres. Mazzilli takes a practice swing or 2 and now settles himself into the batter's box. The National League senior umpire is calling balls and strikes here tonight. Ed Sudol behind the plate. Sawyer's first pitch. Hit on the ground to second base. Mike Champion up with it. Goes over to first in time. He is out at first base, and there's 1 away, and that'll bring up Felix Millan. Felix Millan coming up now with 1 man out. Bill Allman was in the lineup as shortstop originally posted, but he has back trouble. It acted up a little bit. So Dave Roberts was inserted into the lineup at shortstop. Champion at second base. Now here's the pitch to Millan, and it's low and away for a ball. It's 1-0. Round the infield, Mike Ivey at first, Mike Champion at second. Dave Roberts at short, Doug Rader at third. Here is the pitch to Felix Millan. It's inside low. Millan has a batting average of .226. He has 2 runs batted in. This is the start of a 3-city, 11-game road trip for the Mets. And there is a pitch that's in for a called strike. On the coaching lines, Tom Burgess at third base, Denny Summers at first for New York. Bruce Beauclair has moved out on deck. Sawyer's pitch hit on the ground, foul, back of third, down the line and out of play. So it is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Millan backs back out of the batter's box. New York Mets flew to San Diego last night. Here's the pitch inside for a ball. That runs the count out 3-2. Across the letters and in tight to Felix Millan.
Rick Sawyer, formerly of the New York Yankees. Right-hander who has won one and lost one with the payoff pitch. Swung on, it's drilled down the line. If it stays fair, it is going to be a foul ball. Down to the wall in the left field corner. Right down to the San Diego bullpen. Millan already had arrived at second. He's cutting back across the infield grass by the mound, coming back to the plate. Ripped a line drive on a 3-2 pitch. It was fouled by about 2 feet down in the left field corner. So Millan comes back, picks up the bat now, takes a look around. One man out, nobody on base. Good crowd on hand here tonight, San Diego Stadium. Millan wants the pine tar rag, and he gets it. Rick Sawyer was acquired from Syracuse of the New York Yankees organization for Ken Reynolds late last July. He had been up with the Yankees briefly in 75 and 74. Rick Sawyer with the payoff pitch. And he is hit by the pitch ball on the elbow. Stops to look at the elbow. Millan does, and trainer Tom McKenna is rushing out. And so Felix Millan is hit by the pitch ball, and he is simply now holding it down by the wrist, apparently, is where it hit. Was wringing the arm there to try to shake out the pain. Now he bends over, holding the hand down, and Joe Frazier's coming out to see about his second baseman here. Felix Millan hit by a pitch ball on the 3-2 pitch. Frazier puts his arm around Millan's shoulder now. Millan, disdaining any treatment from the trainer, he's simply trying to shake off the pain there, still at the home plate area. So play is held up here for a moment now. Tom McKenna is treating the right arm down by the wrist where that ball struck Felix Millan. Bruce Beauclair is coming back toward the on-deck circle where Dave Kingman is waiting there. Millan stays in the game and goes down to first. Hit by a pitch ball, the Mets pick up their first base runner of the night. Both of these teams are looking for a victory. The Mets came in after a homestand that was curtailed by rain and bad weather. Allowed them to play only 3 games. They lost all 3 of them. The San Diego Padres have just been swept by the Los Angeles Dodgers in a 4-game series. So now, Rick Sawyer sets up, checks back over his shoulder. Bruce Beauclair is at the plate. The throw to first is not in time. Bruce Beauclair is playing right field tonight for the Mets. He's hitting .321, 1 homer and 9 runs batted in. He bats left, wide stance. Here's the pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. 0-1 to Bruce Beauclair. A beautiful evening here in San Diego, California. Mike Ivey holds against the runner at first. Rick Sawyer sets up. Goes to first base, not in time. Felix Millan is back safely. Again, Rick Sawyer looks in to pick up his sign from catcher Gene Tennis. Back over his shoulder, he checks, now deals, and the pitch is low for a ball. 1-1. Tennis, of course, formerly of the Oakland A's. And the Mets opposed him in the 1973 World Series, which went 7 games before the Oakland A's won it. Now Beauclair swings that bat a time or two. Rick Sawyer sets it up and checks, and here's the pitch. Throwing it on the ground, foul on past first base coach Denny Summers, and down the line toward the Met bullpen. Out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. When Sawyer was picked up last July by San Diego, he made a big splash. He had a 4-hit, 7-0 win at Atlanta. The second game of a doubleheader and his first time out for San Diego. Here's a 1-2 pitch, and it's low for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sawyer looks in again to pick up his sign. He defeated the Mets 3-0 last August 12th at Shea Stadium. Had a complete game against them. Throw to first is not in time. This is Sawyer's 4th start of this season. Lost to the Giants 3-1. Defeated the Braves 12-6. Also started against the Astros. Was not involved in that decision. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Swung on it on the ground toward short, and it is going on through for a base hit. Millan's around second on his way to third. George Henry up with the ball in center, lobs into second, holding it third. It's Felix Millan, and Beauclair is on with the seeing eye base hit that he bounced squarely up the middle. Shortstop Dave Roberts went over to try to make the play, And it came up on a high hop that was inches beyond his outstretched glove and went on through into center field. So the Mets now have base runners at first and third, and Dave Kingman is coming up. Dave Kingman is hitting .288. He has had 4 homers and 12 runs batted in, but during the last homestand, Dave Kingman fell into a slump that carried him 1 for 15. Big right-hand batter. It's 330 feet down either line to the foul pole, and it's 410 feet to straightaway center, 370 to the power alleys left and right. Pitch to Kingman, and it's a breaking pitch high and away for a ball. It's 1-0. Felix Millan, the runner at third. Bruce Beauclair, the runner at first. 1 man out. The Mets are batting in the top half of the first inning. San Diego, California. Now again, Rick Sawyer sets up, checks the runners. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. 1-1. There's the count. John Milner has moved out on deck now. Kingman measures the stance. Swings the bat loosely a time or two and cocks it. Sawyer checks the runners. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. There was a breaking pitch low and away, and Kingman chased it. It's 1-2. This is the first game of a 3-game series here. Tonight, tomorrow night, Sunday afternoon. The Mets then will move on to Los Angeles. They'll play 4 consecutive night games, Monday through Thursday, against the Dodgers in Los Angeles. This will be a 1-2 pitch. Swung on, it's way back in left center field. Going, and here's a 3-run homer for Dave Kingman into the seat up the power alley and left. Home run number 5 for Kingman. The Mets are leading by a score of 3-0. It was a 1-2 pitch. And Ralph Kiner, from the looks of the outfielders, Merv Retman in left and George Hendrick in center, there wasn't much doubt in their minds the moment the ball left the bat.
Henry took about 2 steps and then stopped and turned around as the ball went over his head, and he watched it go deep into the stands. A terrific home run by Dave Kingman. The Mets lead by a score of 3-0.
John Milner coming up now. That is the first home run for Kingman since April 18th against Al Raboski. Here's a pitch in for a call strike to Milner. He had 3 against the Cubs, 2 off Mike Krukow and 1 off Bill Bonham, and then 1 off Raboski, and now this one off Rick Sawyer. It's the ground ball going through into center field for a base hit. John Milner down to first base. A ground ball base hit up the middle, and the Mets pick up another base runner. Still only 1 man out. John Stearns is coming up. John Stearns. John Stearns is coming up now, following John Milner in the batting order. Stearns is hitting an even .200. He has 1 homer and 3 runs batted in. And now a balk has been called. A balk has been called against Sawyer, and that will move Milner out to second base. Steger has moved out on deck now for the Mets with Stearns at the plate. Sawyer looks in now to Stearns again. Milner leads off the bag at second. And here's the pitch. It is low for a ball. Again, Sawyer sets it up. Deals a pitch, and it is in there for a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to John Stearns. We're getting some action down in the bullpen now. Dave Frosleben, who started last night's game, is throwing. Pitch is low for a ball. Frosleben throwing in the first inning here tonight for the San Diego Padres, as the New York Mets have opened up a 3-0 lead, still with only 1 man out here in the top half of the first inning. Rick Sawyer again checks and deals. In there for a call strike to John Stearns. Frosleben last night worked 3 innings, gave up 6 runs on 6 hits. Here's a pitch that swung on and fouled off. So the count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes to John Stearns. Stearns batting number 6 in the order here tonight for manager Joe Frazier and the New York Mets. Here's a 2-2 pitch swung on line to first. Taken there by Ivy. The throw to second, and it's a double play. Dave Roberts, the shortstop, covered for a 3-6 double play. It was a line shot to the first baseman, Mike Ivey, and John Milner, the runner at second, had started. And so when the catch was made, Roberts moved over to cover at second. The throw from the first baseman was there before Milner could get back, so it is turned into a 3-6 double play. So the New York Mets picked up 3 runs. They had 3 hits, no errors, and none left. In the middle of the first, the score is the Mets 3 and the Padres coming to bat. The New York Mets have staked John Matlack to a 3-run lead now. Matlack taking his warm-up pitches. John so far has not been able to get a victory in the 1976 season. Last year, he was 3-0 against the Padres, and his lifetime record against them is 7 wins and 3 losses. Matlack is 0-2. This is his first start since losing to the Cardinals 4-2 on April 20th. His other defeat was by the Cubs 5-2 on April 10th. Merv Rettenmund in the leadoff spot up there now, right-hand batter. Here's Matlack with his first pitch of the night. Fouled off, back off the screen and out of play. Merv Rettenmund is 5 for 18, hitting .278, 1 homer and 2 runs batted in. Has been doing well up there in the leadoff spot in John McNamara's batting order. Again, Matlack kicks and fires, and the pitch is inside low for a ball. It's 1-1. John Matlack, 27 years of age. Currently makes his home in Bedford, New York. Grew up in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Tall and slender, he's taking a sign from catcher John Stearns. This is a 1-1 pitch to Merv Rettenmund. And it's high for a ball. Rettenmund at one time with the Baltimore Orioles. Then went to the Cincinnati Reds. Came to the San Diego Padres. Joey Amalfitano is the coach at third for manager John McNamara. And Don Williams is the coach at first for these Padres. Here's a pitch fouled off to the right side and out of play. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mike Champion, the second baseman, is waiting on deck. The Mets have Dave Kingman at first, Felix Millan at second, Bud Harrelson at short, and Roy Steger at third. John Milner's in left, Lee Mazzilli in center, and Bruce Beauclair is in right. Now the 2-2 delivery. And it's in for a called strike 3. Redmond had a little chopping stroke. I think he pulled it up in time, but the pitch was in the strike zone. So Matlack is credited with a strikeout, and Mike Champion is coming up now. Champion's hitting .200. 4 runs batted in. Bill Allman was originally posted in the number 2 slot in the batting order, and Champion was down number 8. But when Allman had back troubles in the pregame drills, he was pulled out, and Champion was moved up there to the number 2 spot. Here's a breaking pitch in for a called strike. 0-1 to the right-hand batting second baseman of the San Diego Padres. Matlack kicks and fires, takes something off of it, and gets it in there for a called strike 2. Off-speed pitch. Dave Winfield, the big outfielder, is moved out on deck. The Mets are leading by a score of 3-0. Now again, John Matlack starts to work. Pitch is swung on and popped up into right field. Going out into medium right is Felix Millan. He has a play and makes the catch. Millan went out to get it.
Hitting third.
2 away.
The right fielder, number 31,
Dave Winfield's coming up now. He has a 9-game hitting streak going for San Diego. Winfield has a batting average of .325. He has 2 homers and 16 runs batted in. From the University of Minnesota. The outfield is straight away and deep. Advisedly against this big fella. Right-hand batter. Matlack's delivery, fastball. In there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Gene Tennis, the catcher, has moved up on deck. Again, John Stearns is flashing a sign for Matlack. Here's the 0-1. Fastball, and it's on in the air to center field. Mazzilli comes up and makes the catch of the line drive. Winfield lined it to Mazzilli in center to retire the side. Nothing across. At the end of an inning, the score is the Mets 3 and the Padres nothing.
batting 7. Number 2,
Roy Steger is coming up to lead it off now for the Mets. Rick Sawyer, right-hand pitcher on the mound tonight for San Diego, 29 years of age, and still makes his home in Bakersfield, California. Steger is hitting .214 for the year. 1 homer and 2 runs batted in. Steger bats number 7 in the order. Here's Sawyer into the motion. Now Stouts breaks it off and says, let's get the sounds all over again. Steger steps back. Now comes back in. Here's Sawyer set to work. And the pitch is swung on and missed. It's strike 1. Bud Harrelson has moved up on deck. In case you've joined us along the way, Dave Kingman had a 3-run homer in the first inning for the Mets. Now the pitch, and it's breaking low for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fans still coming in here at San Diego Stadium. As the pitch is fouled off and off the glove of Gene Tennis on a check swing, it's 1-2. As you're possibly aware, the San Diego Padres came into the National League in 1969, same year that the Montreal Expos came in. Here is a pitch inside low for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And in those early years, the Padres struggled to get attention, to sell themselves to the fans of San Diego. There's a pitch low for a ball, and it looked like a losing battle. And then there was a change in ownership, and under the new ownership, they really turned it around. Baseball interest is blossoming in San Diego, California, as evidenced by their attendance. Here's a payoff pitch swung on and hit in the air to left center field, and Winfield is there. Hendrick is there, waits and makes the catch. George Hendricks, the center fielder. That will bring up Bud Harrelson. Harrelson is hitting .111. He's had 4 hits this year and 36 times at bat. He is in a slump that has carried him 0 for 15. He is a switch hitter batting left. Bud Harrelson. As the pitch low for a ball, it's 1-0. John Madlack has moved up on deck now. At third base, Doug Rader is on the infield grass. Rich Sawyer with a pitch that is hit on the ground and threw into center field for a base hit for Bud Harrelson. Picked up by George Hendrick and played back, and Harrelson has come busting out of his batting slump that had carried him 0 for 15, and he's on at first with a ground ball single to center. That will bring up John Madlack. He's looking down now to Tom Burgess. Signed man at third to see if he is sacrificing here. The Mets out front by a score of 3-0, and they're batting here in the top of the second inning. It is the Mets' first appearance of the year on the West Coast, their first appearance of the year against a Western Division team. Rick Sawyer sets and checks back over his shoulder. Here's the pitch. Around the bunt, Madlack takes high for a ball. It's 1-0. Third baseman Rader was charging on the pitch. This time, the Red Rooster stays in there on the infield grass. Ivy holds against the runner. Here's the pitch. Madlack's around. And the pitch was in there for a called strike. Trying to read the sign of Ed Sudol, who gets a little histrionic back there behind the plate. This will be a 1-1 pitch. Throw over to first is not in time. Lee Mazzilli is on deck. Again off the stretch, Sawyer. Madlack's around. That is a called strike on the outside corner. It's 1-2. Madlack steps back, takes a look now to see if they're going to leave the sacrifice on, despite the fact that the count has gone to 1-2. Now he knows, whatever he knows. At first base, Bud Harrelson takes his lead. And the pitch, it's off, and the pitch is high and away. No sacrifice on there. He had the bat cocked and was ready to swing away. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is an exuberant crowd on hand tonight. Lots of youngsters in the stands. Here's a swing and a miss, struck him out. Madlack is a strikeout victim. The first for Sawyer, and it will bring up Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli's been up one time, and he grounded out second to first.
Number 16, Lee Mazzilli, center field.
Mazzilli, a switch hitter, batting left. Tonight, the Padres are honoring area youngsters involved in the school safety patrol. They're attending the game as guests of the ball club, and there are thousands of them here This is a big, big crowd. Throw over to first, not in time. Mets are leading by a score of 3-0. Cincinnati Reds defeated the Chicago Cubs today, 3-2. Runner goes, pitch out. Tennis is thrown to second, and he's safe for stolen base. Well, Bud Harrelson on a head-first slide, his first of the year. Harrelson went in head-first with a stolen base. His first of the season. It was a pitch out. They had read it out. Gene Tennis cocked his arm and fired it down to shortstop Dave Roberts, but not in time to get Harrelson. 1-0 is the count to Mazzilli at the plate. The Mets with a runner at second now. Woody Fryman was the winner today for Cincinnati. Bill Bonham the loser for the Chicago Cubs. Now the pitch, and it is low for a ball. In the eighth inning, it is Houston 11 and the Pittsburgh Pirates 3. Floyd Bannister for Houston, Jerry Royce for Pittsburgh, Larry Demery in the fourth, Odell Jones in the sixth, Terry Forster in the seventh. Joe Ferguson's hit 2 home runs for Houston tonight. Here's the pitch, swung on, hit on the ground to second. A big hop up to Mike Champion. Tosses over to Ivy in time, and Mazzilli is out. So, the New York Mets had a hit, and they left one. In the middle of the second inning, the score is the Mets 3 and San Diego nothing. And now John Madlock will face the Padres in the second. In St. Louis tonight, in the seventh inning, it is the St. Louis Cardinals 5 and the Atlanta Braves 1. Phil Niekro is going against Bob Forsch in that one. Niekro 0-3, Forsch 3-1. Montreal at Los Angeles later. The Dodgers, of course, are off and running in the Western Division. They have won 13 of their last 14, including a 4-game sweep of the San Diego Padres. And the Philadelphia Phillies are at San Diego, or rather at San Francisco. Gene Tennis is coming up to lead it off. Gene Tennis hitting .250. And here is the pitch. It is outside for ball. Tennis has 19 runs batted in. He is third in the National League in RBIs. Hitting cleanup for the San Diego Padres. Formerly with the Oakland A's. He steps back for a moment now. The New York Yankees defeated the Seattle Mariners by a score of 3-0. Ron Guidry, the winner. Sparky Lyle in the ninth inning. Guidry has won 2 and he's lost none. There's a pitch high for a ball. Stan Thomas, the loser, 1 and 2. Thurman Munson hit his second home of the year in the seventh and run on for the Yankees, who have now won 8 of their last 9. Madlock reads the sign again. Tennis leading off here in the second inning. Mets leading 3-0. Has a swing and a foul ball off and out of play. The Boston Red Sox defeated the Oakland A's 7-4. Ferguson Jenkins, the winner, he's 3-1. Bill Campbell relieved in the seventh inning. Doc Ellis, the loser, he's 1 and 2. Coleman in the sixth, Justy in the eighth. Carlton Fisk had his second home run in the second with 2 men on. Mitchell hit his fifth. Mitchell Page hit his fifth in the fourth with nobody on. Wayne Gross his fourth in the fourth with 1 man on. And Carl Yastrzemski his second in the fifth with 1 man on. Scott hit his third in the fifth with none on, and Gross hit his fifth in the sixth with nobody on. Here's the pitch to Tennis. Curveball high. In the ninth inning, it's the Baltimore Orioles 2 and the California Angels 1. Frank Tanana going against Jim Palmer. Ken Singleton hit his second home of the year in the seventh with nobody on. Cleveland Indians, who have lost 7 of their last 8, are at Milwaukee. And here's a swing and a drive down the left field line. It is pulling and going foul. Into the seats, down in the left field corner. A foul ball off the bat of Gene Tennis. Count is 3 balls and 2 strikes, and Madlock gets the new ball and walks down to the infield grass to rub it up. Those Cleveland Indians having lost 7 of 8, and the rumors are that manager Frank Robinson is in trouble. Texas at Chicago in the seventh inning. Texas Rangers 2, Chicago White Sox 1. Doyle Alexander 2-1 against Steve Stone 1-1. Jorge Orta hit his first home in the fifth with nobody on, and Sandy Alomar hit his first in the sixth with nobody on. In the fifth inning, Detroit 4 and Minnesota 2. Vern Rules 3-1 against Pete Redford 1-3. This will be a payoff pitch to Gene Tennis. Madlock kicks and fires. Swinging a foul ball, back and out of play. Bottom of the sixth inning, Kansas City Royals 3 and the Toronto Blue Jays 1. Bill Singer 0-3 against Jim Coburn 3-1. Right here, the Mets are leading San Diego by a score of 3-0 in bottom of the second inning. Madlock again with a payoff pitch to Tennis. Swung on and missed, struck him out. Second strikeout for John Madlock. George Hendrick is coming up now. He's hitting .325. He has 3 homers and 12 runs batted in. He has had 26 base hits.
Number 25, George.
He is third in the matter of total base hits in the National League. Tall, rangy, right-hand hitting center fielder George Hendrick. One man out and nobody on base. Here's Matlack's delivery, and it's outside high for a ball. Hendrick was acquired from the Cleveland Indians in exchange for John Grubb, Fred Kendall, and Hector Torres in a deal made last December. Here's the 1-0. Fastball in there for a called strike. Hendrick makes his home in Inglewood, California, the Los Angeles area. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Let a breaking pitch in there for a called strike. It's 1-2. Hendrick took a lot off of that one. Sign is being sent out by John Stearns. Hendrick, of course, formerly with the Oakland A's. Here's a pitch that is swung on and missed. Struck him out. John Matlack with his second consecutive strikeout, his third of the night. He has retired 5 consecutive batters, and Mike Ivy is coming up.
Number 15.
Ivy is hitting .279. He has 1 homer and 9 runs batted in. Let's shade the outfield defense around toward left, playing him to pull the ball. And the pitch is in there for a call strike. When Mike Ivy was the number 1 draft choice for the San Diego Padres, he was a young catcher, but he didn't like the position. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Swung on and fouled out. Jammed him in on the fifth. It's 0-2. But he seems to have found a home at first base for the Padres and has successfully resisted all suggestions that he take up catching. This will be a 2-strike delivery with 2 men out and nobody on base. And there's a swing and a foul ball. Back into the seats and out of play. Count holds at 0-2.
Lindsay had a small problem for a catcher when he was in the minor leagues. He couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher. He missed him all the time.
Yeah, he had a mental block about that whole thing, I think. An 0-2 delivery. Swung on and fouled off. He barely stays alive as the ball rolls away from John Stearns. Mets have set up their pitching rotation for the Los Angeles series against the Dodgers. They'll open up on Monday night with Jerry Kuzman, then Nino Espinosa, then John Matlack, and then Tom Seaver. Big matchup here tomorrow night. Tom Seaver going against Randy Jones. Jones, of course, last year, the winner of the Cy Young Award, who has won 1 and lost 3 so far this year. Seaver is 3-0. Then Sunday afternoon here, Craig Swan will go for the Mets against Bob Shirley of the San Diego Padres. This will be an 0-2 pitch to Ivy. It's on the way. Swung on and missed, and Matlack has struck out the side. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Matlack, 4 all told, nothing across. At the end of 2 innings, the score is the Mets 3 and the Padres nothing.
We're going now to the top of the third. The Mets leading by a score of 3-0 on a 3-run home run by Dave Kingman, his 5th home run of the season. And as we go to the top of the third, coming in for the play-by-play, Bob Murphy.
Thank you, Ralph. Felix Millan was hit on the left-handed wrist by a pitch ball his first time up. That started the rally for the New York Mets in the first inning. Bruce Beauclair bounced a single up the middle, and David Kingman rocked a 3-run homer to deep left center. Now Felix leading off, batting for the second time in the game. Rick Sawyer pitching for San Diego. Sawyer, 29-year-old right-hander from Bakersfield, California. He's 6'2", 200. Fastball over the inside corner, strike 1 call. Rick Sawyer joined the San Diego Padres in late July last season after being acquired from the Yankee organization. Now Gene Tennis setting up the target. Breaking ball off the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. We have a beautiful evening in San Diego and a huge crowd. Padres drew very well last year, and they're running ahead of those figures this year. Bounced over the mound towards second base. Into center field, a base hit for Felix Millan. just beyond the reach of Mike Campion, the rookie second baseman. Padres have lost 5 in a row. Mets have lost 4 in a row, so one losing streak will wind up here tonight.
Number 4.
The Padres have been grooming their double play combination in the minor leagues. Bill Allman, the shortstop, and Mike Champion, the second baseman, played together last year at Hawaii. They had worked together in instructional league play. Bill Allman wrenched his back sliding into a base 2 nights ago, so he had to be scratched tonight. Bruce Beauclair singled to center his first time at bat. Now a throw to first, not in time. The Mets now have 5 base hits off right-hander Rick Sawyer. Third baseman Doug Rader, even with the bag at third, wide of the line. And a bunt attempt by Beauclair, and he misses. A 1-strike count. Bruce was trying to push a bunt up the third base line. He had his work cut out for him because Rader, a good fielder, is playing on the edge of the grass. Felix Millan on first and nobody out. We're in the top of the third. First game of 11 games in California. Now Sawyer, the right-hander, checks the runner. The runner goes. The pitch is low. The peg going to second base. High throw, stolen base for Felix Millan. A high throw by Gene Tennis. The shortstop Roberts had to leap to make the play. And Millan has his first stolen base of the year. And the second of the game for New York. So the Mets are running on Gene Tennis.
Tennis has had that reputation for a long time. In fact, they played him at first base at many an occasion in Oakland.
Here's the pitch on the way, and a fastball taken at the letters for a call strike. The other ball clubs, too, have been running on Gene Tennis. So far this year, he has thrown out only 11 of 30. A catcher, if he's doing a good job, will throw out 50%, maybe a little more. Off the outside corner, 2-2. What would you say is an appraisal figure on the percentage that a catcher should throw out?
Well, it depends, of course, on the ball club. The Cincinnati Reds were successful about 80% of the time last year against everyone, so that ball club definitely tough, but 50-50 would be pretty good.
I've always figured 50-50 was not bad. Now a foul ball pulled off to the right by Beauclair. No play. Dave Kingman on deck. The Reds have a great throwing catcher in Johnny Bench, and of course a lot depends, Ralph, on your pitchers and how close they keep those runners, and a lot of things go into it. But if a catcher has a reputation for not having a good arm or an accurate arm, they're going to take advantage of it. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Beauclair. Bruce hitting third in the batting order tonight. Mets lead 3-0. We're in the third inning of the game. Now Sawyer checks the runner Millan at second. And a fastball outside, ball 3-2. In the first inning, when the Mets scored 3 runs, John McNamara, the manager, had Dave Freisleben warming up in the bullpen. And he was the San Diego starter last night and worked 3 innings. San Diego has a very strong bullpen, but so far this year, their 4 starters have been shaky, including Randy Jones. And a smack right up the middle, a base hit to center field for Beauclair. Around third is Millan. He's coming home. The throw coming in will be cut off. Throw to second, and now in a rundown play is Beauclair. The ball back to Ivy, and Ivy tags him out. A run is in, and the Mets lead 4-0. The ball was cut off by the third baseman, Doug Rader, who then fired to the shortstop, Dave Roberts. He had then chased Beauclair back toward first, and he threw to the first baseman. So Beauclair is out 8-5-6-3 if you are keeping score.
Number 26, Dave Kingman, first base.
A single and a run batted in for Bruce Beauclair. Bruce now has 10 RBIs. He had only 13 all last season. And here is Dave Kingman. Dave clouded a 3-run homer in the first inning of the game. Fastball inside, ball 1. So Dave now with 5 home runs and 15 runs batted in, batting an even 300. Dave Freisleben warming up again. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. One out and nobody on. A run is in. Now the pitch to Kingman. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. San Diego infield is set deep against Guy King and around the left. And a breaking ball off the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The matchup tomorrow night is Tom Seaver and Randy Jones. The right-hander Rick Sawyer delivers, and a ground ball trickling foul down the third baseline. Until last year, Tom Seaver just owned San Diego. They couldn't beat him. But last year, he started 3 games against the Padres, and all 3 times the Mets were shut out, and Tom wound up 0-3. Rick Sawyer shut out Tom Seaver, Randy Jones, and Brent Strom. Now a swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. It is picked up by Tennis and thrown to Ivy at first for the out, 2 down. The second strikeout for right-hander Rick Sawyer. 2 outs, nobody on. John Milner will be the batter. Milner returning to the lineup here tonight. John has been out for about 2 weeks. He got back for 1 turn at bat. Second turn at bat, he fouled a ball against his foot and went to the sidelines again. He's hoping he can stay healthy now and play for a long string. And it's in for a strike call to John Milner. Milner singled to center in the first inning today. The windup by Sawyer, in comes the pitch. And a breaking ball outside and low, 1 ball, 1 strike. We have almost a full house in San Diego tonight. It probably will be a full house tomorrow night. Wide on a fastball, 2-1. And Ralph, something you really enjoy, fireworks demonstration following the game tonight.
That should be very pretty.
And a half swing and a foul ball. You don't sound too enthused about that. You reserve that for July 4th, don't you?
Well, I'll tell you, I used to put on fireworks when I was a general manager here. We couldn't draw a crowd.
The 2-2 delivery. Hit in the air down the left field line by Milner. It may go foul. And it goes over into the seats. A foul ball in the left field corner. And the count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes. They have turned it around so much here in San Diego. The 2-2 delivery. Outside. There was a time when we first started coming to San Diego, all the talk you heard in town was the San Diego Charger football team. Now you don't hear the Chargers mentioned. The Padres are the big thing to do. Milner out of the batter's box for a moment. The count is 3-2. 3-2 delivery, and a well-hit fly ball to center field. It is in play. Under the ball waiting, George Hendrick, and that retires the side. 1 run, 2 hits, and none left. In the middle of the third now in San Diego, the New York Mets 4, and the San Diego Padres nothing. To enjoy throughout the summer. The date again is Decoration Day, Monday, May the 30th, a doubleheader at Shea, the Mets and the Expos.
Number 12, Doug Raider.
Veteran third baseman Doug Raider leading off now against Matlack in the last half of the third. Raider hit .257 last year with the Padres, had 9 homers and 55 runs batted in. He has power. Breaking ball in, a strike call. Matlack struck out the side in the second inning, getting 3 strong right-handed batters, Gene Tennis, George Hendrick, and Mike Ivy. And the pitch on the way, swing and a miss, and a breaking ball, strike 2. The Padres are just about an all right-handed hitting ball club day in and day out. They have a lot more right-handed hitting than they do left-handed hitting. So it's not an easy ball club for left-handed pitchers. Now Matlack with a 2-strike advantage. In comes the pitch. And a grounder foul down the third base line. No play. Nobody on, nobody out. 4-0 New York. We're in the bottom half of the third. After 3 here in San Diego, the Mets go to Dodger Stadium to play 4 night ball games. The 2-strike delivery, he jammed him, a foul ball back into the crowd. Matlack trying to get right at his kitchen. We had clear skies most of the day in San Diego. This is the time of the year when you normally, if you're close to the water, would expect the fog to be in and then burn off about noon. But it was clear all day and up to about 70 degrees. A beautiful day. Dave Roberts playing shortstop tonight is the on-deck batter. Now Stearns setting up the mitt. And a half swing. Did he hold in time? He did. Just out of the strike zone, says Ed Sudol. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Mets have played in 3 of the 5 longest games in the history of baseball. In all 3, Ed Sudol has been involved. Get a little gun shy, but you see him behind the plate. You think you might be in for a long one. Pitching 1 and 2. And a half swing foul once again. This one, Nick Sudol on its way by. The Padres have a new coach at first base this year. He is Don Williams, an organizational man promoted. He has been a scout, a scouting supervisor, and a minor league manager. And Joey Malfitano, the man that Leo DeRocher considered his good luck charm, is on the lines at third. Pitching 1 and 2. Check swing on a fastball high, 2 and 2. The pitching coach of the Padres is an original Met, Roger Craig. The batting coach is Bob Skinner, former Major League manager. He spends the game in the dugout with manager John McNamara. Pitching 2 and 2. And a check swing again, a little bit high, 3 and 2. The other Padre coach is Whitey Wiedelman. Very well-known baseball personality in Southern California. John Matlack with a full count of 3 and 2 on right-hand hitter, third baseman Doug Rader. The pitch. Ball 4 is high and outside. So Rader works out a walk. The Padres have their first base runner of the game. And he brings to the plate Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts is an interesting story. He came to the Padres early last year and said, I would like very much to be a catcher. Would you hang in there with me and give me a chance? He had been a third baseman who broke in with a big splash 3 years ago. He went to Hawaii and learned to be a catcher. And the pitch on the way. Fastball down the middle, a strike call. He had been drafted in the expansion draft by the Toronto Blue Jays. And that figured because the general manager of the Blue Jays is Peter Bavasi, the son of Buzzy Bavasi, who runs the San Diego Padres. And the pitch on the way, far inside, he had to jump to get out of the way. But then during spring training, the Padres sent pitcher Jerry Johnson to Toronto to get Dave Roberts back. He's a swingman. He can go behind the plate for you, or he can play second, short, or third. And he has some power. In comes the pitch. And a line drive, base hit right down the left field line. Milner has to chase the ball into the corner. On his way to third is Rader. He'll go in standing up. And Roberts is on second with a double hit down the left field line. And coming on now will be Rick Sawyer, the pitcher. He is an exceptional hitter for a pitcher. He already has 3 hits and 5 times at bat this year. So on a walk and a double, the Padres have a real threat. Runners on second and third, nobody out. Mets lead 4-0, and we're in the last of the third inning. With a 4-run lead, the infield is willing to concede a run to get an out. And they are playing back against Rick Sawyer. Matlack working from the stretch. And the pitch on the way. Fastball down the middle, a strike call. Rick Sawyer, who's 6'2", weighs 200. Lee Mazzilli is playing him to hit the ball to right center field, but he's playing him deep. And the big crowd at San Diego Stadium starting to come alive now as the Padres threaten. And the pitch on the way. Curve, a strike call. And a 2-strike count on the pitcher, Rick Sawyer. Merv Rettenman, the left fielder, is the on-deck batter. He's batting leadoff. Jerry Turner and Gene Richards have been playing left field, but they have not been hitting. And Merv Rettenman has taken over the job for now. Rettenman, a right-hand hitter. The 2-strike delivery and a ground ball past the mound, picked up by Mian. The play goes to first, and a run is in. Matlack thought he would have that in his glove, but the glove got down a little bit late, and it went out toward the middle of the diamond where Mian made the play to nail the batter. And now it is 4-1 as Rader comes in to score. And a run batted in for Rick Sawyer. The hitter is leadoff batter Merv Rentenmund, a veteran right-handed hitting outfielder, batting at .263. He took a call third strike in the first inning of the game. Again, the infield is back. And a drive in the air to left field. Milner is getting under it. He will make the catch. Tagged up and digging for the plate is Roberts. The relay throw, and they get him out at the plate. He is out at the plate on a relay throw by Roy Steger to John Stearns. So Roberts was nailed on a drive, hit to Milner in left field. Milner's throw coming in started to die, and Steger cut it off and wheeled it on home, and they nail him for a double play. Milner to Steger to Stearns. So, 1 run on 1 hit. No errors and none left. And at the end of 3, the Mets 4 and the Padres 1.
Recently, a survey was taken of the prices of premium gasoline. The survey covered hundreds of service stations in the northeastern United States. Virtually every major oil company was included. Right now, I'd like to tell you the results of that survey. In Portland, Maine, Getty Premium sold for less per gallon. In Boston, Getty Premium sold for less. In northern New Jersey, Philadelphia, and New York, Getty Premium sold for less. In fact, in every state surveyed, Getty Premium sold for less per gallon than most major premiums. More premium gas for your money. That has to be the best mileage ingredient you can buy. So the next time you pull in for gas, pull in for Getty Premium gasoline. Getty. Once again, we've got what's best for your car.
Leading off the bench, number 12.
Now the 4th inning, and John Stearns is up against Rick Sawyer. Stearns has been hitting in hard luck, and it continued his first time up here tonight when he hit a line drive right to Ivy, the first baseman, and it went into a double play. Now a fastball high, ball 1. The game is over in Pittsburgh, and the Astros, scoring 11 runs in the middle innings of the game, defeated the Pirates 11-3. And rookie left-hander Floyd Bannister is the winner. Long drive, deep to left by Stearns. Going, and gone. A home run. John Stearns got all of that one. That exploded off the bat. And the Mets now are in front 5-1. For Stearns, his second home run of the year. That was a real shot. Stearns' other home run this year was off Eric Rasmussen of the St. Louis Cardinals, and it was hit to the opposite field over the right field wall. But this ball was pulled and it exploded. I would say it was 15 or 20 rows back up into the stands in deep left field. So it is 5-1 New York. The batter is Roy Steger. Fastball in, strike 1 called. And again, Dave Freisleben is up in the bullpen for San Diego. And the pitch on the way, taken inside. 2 balls and no strikes. In the game at Pittsburgh, Floyd Bannister, the young southpaw out of Arizona State, went all the way to win. Jerry Royce was the loser. The Astros winning 11-3. Houston had lost 9 of its last 12, and the Pirates had won 5 in a row. So the cold team beat the hot team tonight in Pittsburgh. St. Louis leading Atlanta 5-2 last of the 8th inning. And a ground ball whacked to short, taken by Roberts. And the long throw to Ivy in time for the out. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
Tune in and team up with me, Julie LaRosa, weekday afternoons from 1 to 4, only on WNEW New York. We're the longest running hit in town. You kidding?
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner were in the top of the 4th in San Diego. The Mets breaking out are in front 5-1. Buddy Harrelson swings and misses strike 1. Buddy singled up the middle his first time at bat. Well, the Phillies got 3 in the first inning off Jim Barr in San Francisco tonight. Steve Carlton against Jim Barr. The Expos are at Dodger Stadium. Don Stanhouse and Tommy John. And a bat that is fouled to the left, no play. The Dodgers have won 13 of their last 14. Remarkably, they've won 11 of 12 road ball games. One out and nobody on. A run in on a home run by John Stearns. And a half swing by Buddy. He holds up on the swing. And the count is 1-2. Stocky right-hander Dave Freisleben continues to throw in the Padre bullpen. And a breaking ball off the inside corner now to Buddy. The National League senior umpire, Ed Sudol, is working behind the plate. The 2-2 delivery, and a ground ball hit to third, handled by Rader. He straightens up, throws on to Ivy. That retires Buddy Harrelson. 2 men down. So 2 outs and nobody on, and John Matlack bats for the second time.
John Matlack, pitcher.
John was struck out his first time up. The Yankees blank Seattle 3-0 on the pitching of Ron Guidry with Sparky Lyle in the ninth. And a well pop-up into short left field. Backing up is Dave Rader. Doug Rader, he'll be under it, and he has it for the out. Ball fooled me. Coming off the bat, it looked like it might have been hit better than that, but it turned out to be nothing more than an infield pop fly. Taken by third baseman Doug Rader. 1 run on the home run by John Stearns, and nobody left. So, in the middle of the 4th inning in San Diego, the New York Mets 5 and the San Diego Padres 1.
You may borrow up to $2,500 and choose from a wide variety of repayment loans. For a large or small loan, call HFC in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut. See your phone book for the household finance office nearest you.
Last of the 4th inning. And now Felix Millan has left the field and is coming toward the dugout. I believe he might be leaving the ball game. He was hit by a pitch ball on the left hand and wrist. His first time at bat in the ball game tonight. It may be stiffening up on Felix, and it appears that he is going to leave the ball game. And Mike Phillips will come in to play second base. So Millan has been knocked out of action as the result of being hit by a pitch in the first inning of the game.
Now playing second base for New York, number 5, Mike Phillips.
Mike Phillips goes to second. We will try and get a report from the clubhouse on Felix Millan for you later on. I'm sure it just stiffened up on him. Mike Champion will be leading off against Matlack. Mike played with Hawaii in the Coast League last year. Mike Champion batted .267 at Hawaii last year, signed right out of high school. He's about 2 years younger than the rookie shortstop, Bill Allman, but they've been playing together now for 2 years. Padres feel that there'll be a double play combination in San Diego for a number of years to come. Mike Champion was born in Montgomery, Alabama, but raised in California near Santa Ana. The Yankees blanked Seattle 3-0. The Red Sox defeated Oakland 7-4. They had a home run barrage at Fenway Park tonight. There were 6 home runs. And Wayne Gross, the rookie third baseman for the Oakland A's, hit 2. He now has 5. And Mitchell Page, the left-handed power-hitting outfielder who came from the Pirates in a trade, hit his 5th of the year. In the 11th inning in Baltimore, Don Baylor homered. And a ground ball hit to third. Steger up with it, fires quickly over to Dave Kingman in time for the out. So Champion hitting the first pitch thrown by Matlack is out.
Right fielder, number 31, Dave Winfield.
And Dave Winfield comes up. He flied to center his first time at bat. Don Baylor's homer in the 11th inning enabled California to turn back Baltimore 3-2. Frank Tanana all the way. He's now 4-0, and Dyer Miller lost it in relief of Jim Palmer. The Rangers lead the White Sox 2-1, and they're in the last of the 9th inning in Chicago. Dave Winfield is 0 for 1. He's been hot. He's hit safely in 9 straight ball games. Powerful right-hand batter. Looks at a curve in, a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's have the infield deep and spread out against Dave Winfield. And the outfield plays him deep. And a foul ball back over the backstop and into the crowd. We have been advised by Public Relations Director Arthur Richmond that Mijan's thumb started to swell, and that is why he left the field. Right thumb on his throwing hand. Now Matlack winding the 1-2 pitch. And a ground ball rakes slowly to short. In is Buddy Harrelson. He snags it. And a perfect throw in time, 2 down. So Buddy Harrelson throwing out Dave Winfield, 2 outs and nobody on. And the catcher, Gene Tennis, is batting cleanup. Tennis hitting .247, but he's the Padre leader in RBIs with 19. Winfield has driven in 16. Padres have been scoring enough runs to win a lot of ball games, but their pitching has been giving up even more. Now the pitch on the way to Tennis. Curve breaks over the heart of the plate, a strike call. Minnesota leading Detroit 5-4. They're in the 8th inning in Minnesota. Pitch by Matlack, breaking ball low inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kansas City Royals lead Toronto 6-1. That game is in the 9th inning in Kansas City with Jim Colborn bidding for his 4th win. Tennis, right-hand hitter waiting, and a fly ball hit down the right field line. It may go foul, and it will over into the bullpen and out of play. Bruce Beauclair gave the long chase but could not get close to it. New York 5 runs on 7 hits. San Diego 1 run on 1 hit. A double by Dave Roberts. He doubled behind a walk, and that helped build the San Diego Padre run. The same Dave Roberts was thrown out at the plate trying to score their 2nd run. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Number 5 for John Matlack. He got him with a low breaking ball. No runs, no hits, none left. At the end of 4 in San Diego, the New York Mets 5 and the San Diego Padres 1.
Schaefer B. Consistently with Schaefer. To your life. Go straight to your third. Beer after beer. The same great taste with Schaefer. The last one always tastes as good as the first.
Schaefer consistency starts with country pure water. Heading for the Schaefer Brewery in Lehigh Valley. There, Schaefer's Croydon Brew. That's brewing twice. For over 130 years, it's given Schaefer a smooth, crisp, consistently great taste. Schaefer consistency. Put it to the test. You'll find your last one tastes as good as your first.
Beer after beer, the same great taste in Schaefer. Your last one always tastes as good as your first.
Schaefer Brewing Company, Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania.
Lee Mazzilli, Mike Phillips, and Bruce Beauclair will be hitting against Rick Sawyer. It is the top of the 5th inning in San Diego. The Mets return to Shea on Monday night, the 9th of May, for the Mayor's Trophy game between the Mets and the Yankees. Every penny of the proceeds goes to help the Mayor's Sandlot Baseball program. Exciting night at Shea. You can see the 2 New York clubs and help the Sandlot Baseball kids at the same time. The next night, the Mets open their homestand against the San Diego Padres. Lee Mazzilli is 0 for 2. Twice Lee has bounced to the second baseman. Fastball on the outside edge of the plate, strike 1. Rick Sawyer checking it out with Gene Tennis. The pitch to Mazzilli. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, strike 2. Doug Rader playing on the grass wide of the bag at third, and Roberts, the shortstop, has shaded a stride toward second. The 2-strike delivery, low and outside to Mazzilli. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Next pitch on the way. Change up, missing outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. What a beautiful sight here this evening. The stadium just about jam-packed, and the weather is absolutely perfect. Now the pitch. Too high, ball 3. It is 3-2. Full count to Lee Mazzilli at 3-2. The payoff delivery outside ball 4, and Mazzilli has worked out a walk. For Lee Mazzilli, it is his 10th walk of the season. He is the club leader in that department.
Number 5, Mike Phillips, second base.
The hitter is Mike Phillips. Mike took over for Felix Millan. Felix forced out of action when his thumb started to swell after being hit in the first inning with a pitch. Now here's the stretch by the right-hander, and a throw to first. Well, Freisleben is up again. He has been up all evening long, but this time he is joined by left-hander Brent Strom. Throw to first, and Mazzilli hurries back to the bag. Now, the Mets have already stolen second base twice in this ballgame. Chances are pretty good that Mazzilli might be trying to get it to number 3. And a pitch out, but he wasn't going. He bluffed the dash, and he held up. 1 ball and no strikes to Mike Phillips. Mike hitting 174 on 4 for 23 this season. Mike Ivy, the first baseman, holding against Mazzilli. Lee starts to build his lead. And a throw to first, not in time. Lee has that wonderful speed. Still working on his base running skills, ability to get an even better lead. One of the best base stealers of all time is Willie Mays in the ballpark. Willie works a lot with Mazzilli. There he goes. The pitch is hit foul down the right field line, no play. Mazzilli was on his way, and the ball was whacked foul. 1 ball, 1 strike to Mike Phillips. The matchup tomorrow night is Tom Seaver and Randy Jones. 2 years ago, Seaver won the Cy Young Award. Last year, Randy Jones won the Cy Young Award. Tom Seaver has won it 3 times. And the stadium here in San Diego will be jammed. A day game on Sunday. Craig Swan will be opposed by a young left-hander who throws hard, Bob Shirley. He made it to the major leagues in 1 year. Only 1 year of minor league baseball. And he's won 2 and lost 2 so far this season. And a throw to first once again by Rick Sawyer. He's really working on keeping Mazzilli close. Here's the pitch on the way, off the outside corner, 2 balls and 1 strike. 5-1 New York. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Dave Kingman belted a 3-run homer. Bruce Beauclair singled in a run, and John Stearns hit his 2nd homer of the year. Throw to first, not in time. There goes the runner, and a high fly ball hit the left field. Now Mazzilli puts on the brakes and starts backpedaling. The catch made by Rettenman, the left fielder. So it's 1 out and 1 on.
Number 4, Bruce Beauclair.
They had a pitching duel at Comiskey Park in Chicago tonight. Doyle Alexander besting Steve Stone as the Rangers won over the White Sox 2-1. Alexander is now 3-1, and Stone is 1-2. A couple of singles hitters clouded home runs. Jorge Horta and Sandy Alomar. Bruce Beauclair has 2 for 2. And a throw to first, not in time. With his 2 for 2 here tonight, young Bruce Beauclair is now hitting .367. And Bruce is number 2 on the ball club in RBIs. Tall, slender, left-handed batter waiting. Fastball. Wide, says Ed Sudol. 1 ball, no strikes. Now the Padres are convinced that Mazzilli is going to try and steal the base. And they are devoting an awful lot of time to him. If they catch him, it will be time well spent. There he goes, the pitch. Ground ball hit toward the hole. A base hit into right field for Beauclair, and Mazzilli will easily cruise on to third. There are runners at first and third. And Beauclair has his 3rd single in a row. Mazzilli was running, and the single went into right field, putting runners on first and third, and this may be all for Rick Sawyer. The manager, John McNamara, is on his way to the mound. Now he has Brent Straub, a left-hander, and Dave Freisleben, a right-hander, and I believe Freisleben will be coming in. Freisleben has been up for 5 innings in the bullpen. Rick Sawyer is leaving the ball game. Dave Freisleben, who started for the Padres last night against the Dodgers, will be coming in. Freisleben making his 9th appearance of the year. He has won none and lost 4. When you're 0-4 this early in the year, it's a tough way to start. Pitched one very good ball game against the Cincinnati Reds. So while the pitching change is being made, a lot of things are happening in the major leagues, and Ralph Kiner will bring you right up to date.
Well, the Cincinnati Reds won their 8th ball game of the season to go with 10 losses as they defeated the Chicago Cubs by a score of 3-2. Both sides getting 8 base hits, no home runs. Woody Fryman was the winning pitcher. His record now 2-2. Eastwick worked in the 9th inning to help him out. Bonham was the losing pitcher. His record also 2-2. Houston beat the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh was ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals by percentage points. Houston had lost 9 of their last 12 ball games, and they defeated Pittsburgh by a score of 11-3, breaking a 5-game winning streak for the Pirates. Floyd Manister, the winning pitcher, his record 1-1. Jerry Royce, the loser, his record 0-3. And Joe Ferguson had 2 home runs, his 4th and 5th of the year for Houston. Atlanta playing against the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cardinals, after 8, leading by a score of 5-2. Necro started for Atlanta, has been relieved by Easterly. Ford started for St. Louis, and Rabowski has relieved him in the 7th inning. So the Cardinals, if they win, will take over first in the Eastern Division. At the end of 1.5 innings, Montreal nothing, the Dodgers nothing. The Dodgers have won 13 of their last 14 ball games, and they lead by 6.5 games over the San Francisco Giants. Stanhouse pitching for Montreal, his record 1-2. Tommy John going for the Dodgers, his record 0-1. Philadelphia got 3 in the first, and after 2 innings of play, they lead by a score of 3-0. Steve Carlton, 2-1, a 20-game winner last year, working for Philadelphia. Jim Barr pitching for the San Francisco Giants. Phillies won the Eastern Division last year. They are 5-9 for the year so far, 3.5 games out. In the American League, the Yankees defeated Seattle 3-0. Win for Ron Gertgry, and he has a record now at 2-0. Stan Thomas, a losing pitcher. Munson, a home run in the 7th inning, the big blow in the ball game. It was his 2nd of the year. Boston over Oakland 7-4. Oakland was leading in their half of the American League West by a half game over the Chicago White Sox. California playing at Baltimore and winning 3-2. The winning pitcher in that ball game was Tanana. Singleton had a home run along with Rudy and Baylor. Texas playing against Chicago, and Texas winning 2-1. Winning pitcher in that ball game, Alexander. Now we go back to the action here, and once again, Bob Murphy.
Dave Kingman facing Dave Freisleben. Runners on 1st and 3rd, 1 down. David has a 3-run homer tonight. And the pitch on the way. Beauclair is running a high drive deep to left, going all the way. A home run for Dave Kingman. Tremendous shot to left field for Dave Kingman. His 2nd 3-run homer of the ball game. And now the Mets lead the Padres by a score of 8-1. And Kingman has 6 RBIs for the night. Ralph Kiner, I remember last year when Kingman was in a slump at Shea Stadium, had a terrible game on the last game of the homestand, struck out 4 times. The next night, the Mets played at Dodger Stadium, and he hit 3 home runs. Remember that?
Well, Kingman has 2 here tonight. That's the 7th home run given up by Freisleben so far this year, and it came on the very first pitch.
That night at Dodger Stadium, just about this time a year ago, maybe a little bit later, he had 8 RBIs in the ball game for a club record. Now he has 6 here tonight. John Milner is the batter, and the pitch is on the inside corner of strike. And Art Friedman points out that at Dodger Stadium that night about a year ago, all 3 were hit on the first pitch. Line shot into right center. Base hit for John Milner, going all the way back to the wall. And Milner will go into second base standing with a double. And the bats are breaking out here tonight in San Diego. For John Milner, it is his 2nd base hit, and the crowd reacting to the bombardment. The Mets have hit 3 home runs in the game tonight. Kingman has hit 2. And Kingman has 6 RBIs. Stearns hit the other. That was Milner's
John Stearns.
2nd base hit. He singled in the 1st. And now it brings up John Stearns. And John hit one in the seats his last time up. A strike called in the outside corner of the knees. Brent Strom is warming up in the San Diego bullpen. The Mets now with an 8-1 lead, 8 runs on 10 hits. And the pitch on the way. It is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Dave Kingman with 6 RBIs tonight, now has 18 for the year. Milner is on second, 1 man away. Breaking ball inside, 2-1 to John Stearns. San Diego starters have not been able to hold the opposing ball clubs long enough to get to that strong bullpen. Now a curve on the outside corner. It's 2-2. They have an outstanding bullpen with Riley Fingers, Rich Metzger, Dave Tomlin. But they hold them back for late in the ball game, and if the starters don't hold you close, it doesn't help any. Pitching 2-2. And a foul back over the screen and up into the crowd, no play.
Here's a further report on Mian. He has been taken.
Felix Mian has been taken to the hospital for precautionary X-rays of his thumb.
Receive X-rays on the right wrist and thumb.
Felix was hit on the right wrist and thumb with a pitch thrown in the very first inning of the game by Rick Sawyer. Now the pitch to Stearns. Ground ball bounced slowly towards shortstop. Milner crossing over. The throw to first is in time, but it was close. Roberts got the throw to Ivy just in time to get Stearns, and Milner moved over to third. Padre infield spread out, back deep, the outfield straight away, and a swing and a miss on a breaking ball. So a 2-strike count to Roy Steger. Buddy Harrelson waiting his turn at bat in the on-deck circle. Now the pitch on the way, and a check swing roller right back to the mound. Freisleben with it, and he throws to first to retire the side. An explosive inning on a 3-run homer by Dave Kingman. 3 runs. 3 hits, and 1 left on. So, after 4.5 innings in San Diego, the New York Mets 8 and the San Diego Padres 1.
It's the sale of the season. It's Channel's exciting spring super sale with super savings on hundreds and hundreds of timely items for your home and family. You'll save big dollars on lawn and garden needs, lumber and paneling.
That was a line double down the left field line by Dave Roberts, the shortstop.
Leading off the Padres, the center fielder, number 25, George Hendrick.
George Hendrick played for the Cleveland Indians last season. Has power. He had 25 home runs and 81 runs batted in. Right-hand batter. Overly close batting stance and a strike called at the letters. Hendrick is 6'3" and weighs 195. Now Matlack into his motion and the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss and a high hard one. That's the fastest pitch thrown tonight by Matlack. The St. Louis Cardinals are back on top of the Eastern Division by trimming Atlanta tonight 5-2, while the Pirates were losing. Bob Forsch won his 4th game of the year. Swing and a miss. He got him on a curveball for John Matlack's strikeout number 6. And the second time that he has fanned George Hendrick. And it will bring up Mike Ivy.
Number 15, Mike Ivy.
So the final was St. Louis 5 and Atlanta 2. Bob Forsch, the winner, is 4-1. And knuckleballer Phil Niekro is now 0-4. At Candlestick Park, the Giants got 4 runs in the 3rd inning to go ahead of the Phillies 4-3. And a high foul pop. Kingman with a very long run, a lot of room in foul territory. No play. It drops just into the crowd. The Expos and the Dodgers, no score in the 3rd at Dodger Stadium. Stan House and Tommy John. Right here, 1 out and nobody on, last of the 5th inning. Mike Ivy was struck out his first time up. Ivy hitting .274. Swings late, fouls the ball off, no play. And a 2-strike count on Mike Ivy. Ivy played 140 games with the Padres last year, and he hit .291. That's 70 RBIs. Mike Ivy, right-hand hitter. Matlack eyes his target, and a high fly ball hit the right field. Easy play for Bruce Beauclair. He draws a beat on it, and it's in his glove. Now there are 2 away, and Doug Rader will be the batter. The Red Rooster hitting at .262. For many years, he handled third for the Houston Astros. Mets with their infield deep, and the outfield just a stride to left. The pitch by Matlack swung on and foul back upstairs. John has a good hop on that fastball tonight, and they are cuffing it back up into the crowd and out of play. Matlack has walked 1 and struck out 6. The only time the Padres have had their leadoff man on base was in the third when he did walk Rader, who was leading off. He later scored the Padres' run. High, inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Eight to 1 in favor of New York here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Matlack into his motion, the pitch to Rader. Breaking ball in, a strike call, beautiful pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The shortstop, Dave Roberts, is on deck. Nothing going at the moment in the San Diego bullpen, although they had Brent Strom warming up a little earlier. Pitching 1 and 2. And a foul ball, he jammed him. Back over the screen into the crowd again. John Matlack had 3 starts against the Padres last year, and in the 3 games, the Padres scored 1 run. John's earned run average against San Diego was about a half of 1 run per 9 innings. Pitching 1 and 2. Started to go, held up, and it broke low inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Many pitchers complain about the flat mound of the San Diego ballpark, particularly pitchers who throw hard and come over the top. Opposing pitchers have been known to say it's a Randy Jones mound. Rader waiting on the 2-2 delivery, and a bloop hit toward Dave Kingman and over his head inside the line, a base hit. He's on his way to second. The throw by Kingman. They may get him. The slide. He's out. Beautiful throw by Dave Kingman. And Rader, in an 8-1 ball game, is thrown out at second base. He obviously thought he could make it, or he never would have taken that gamble with his team 7 runs behind. He blooped the ball just beyond the reach of Kingman, just inside the line, and tried for a double, and he was out by a wide margin. But Harrelson applying the tag. No runs, 1 hit, and none left. And at the end of 5 innings in San Diego, the New York Mets 8 and the San Diego Padres 1. The ground crew out to brighten things up for the last 4 innings of baseball. We get ready now for the 6th inning, and all set to follow the action, Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Bob Murphy, and hi, everyone. Mets leading by a score of 8-1. 2 big 3-run home runs by Dave Kingman, another home run by John Stearns, and the Mets with 8 runs on 10 hits. Padres have had 1 run on 2, and the leadoff batter, Bud Harrelson, and the first pitch is grounded foul on the third base side at strike 1. Harrelson 1 for 2 tonight, singled to center field off the starter Rick Sawyer. Sawyer was knocked out after 4 1/3 innings. And Freisleben now pitching for the Padres. Right-hander into the windup, and the pitch back a curveball over for a call strike. Dave Freisleben, a right-hander. Last year he won 10 and lost 13. This year he is 0-4. The next pitch to Harrelson is taken inside, a breaking ball, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Harrelson now has had 5 hits. The double was his first extra base hit. He had been 0 for 15 before he came up with a base hit. And a ground ball hit out to the left side. The shortstop has the ball, bobbles it, throws it away. And Harrelson makes the turn and moves on down to second on the air. So an error charged to the shortstop, Dave Roberts. And the Mets have a runner at second base, and the crowd here, a tremendously big crowd, getting very restless. They do not like the action as the Padres have trailed in the ball game right from the beginning. The Mets scoring 3 runs in the first inning. So Harrelson on the 2-base error by the shortstop, Dave Roberts, and that will bring up John Matlack. John is 0 for 2. He's been up 7 times this year with 1 base hit. Padres looking for a possible sacrifice. Third baseman is in, the first baseman is in. And Freisleben with his first pitch. Matlack swings away and hits it foul on the left field side. The ball curving into the stands, out of play. When the Padres moved to this area, actually came in as an expansion ball club, they had felt that they would do their best attendance against the Dodgers. It has not worked out that way. Their all-time high for a single night game was against the St. Louis Cardinals, 50,569. Next pitch is taken high. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike as Freisleben sets up. The pitch back is bunted out to the pitcher. He has to play first, goes there. And the play is in time, and Harrelson is out. Good play by Freisleben as he picks up the out at first as Rader takes the perfect throw. On the fielder's choice, Matlack is on at first base, and the Mets have a runner now at first base with 1 man out. That will bring up Lee Mazzilli. Lee has walked and scored. He also has grounded out twice. Lee batting 196. Mazzilli batting from the left-hand side against the right-hander, Dave Freisleben. And Freisleben with his first delivery. Mazzilli takes a breaking ball below the knees. It's ball 1. Top Dodger crowd here, 46,891. Top crowd for a Mets game here, 42,000. And there's a ball hit out to right field. It's a base hit. Mazzilli goes to first base as John Matlack goes on down to second and holds there. So Lee Mazzilli gets a base hit. And the Mets have runners at first and second base with 1 man out. That'll bring up Mike Phillips batting for the second time. Mike White out to left field his first time up.
Number 5.
Phillips replacing Felix Meehan, who was hit by a pitch ball in the first inning. He injured his thumb. Stayed in the ball game to single in the third. Now John McNamara coming out to the mound. He has a left-hander in the bullpen. Phillips, a left-hand batter, is the next batter, and it's Brent Strom throwing in the bullpen. McNamara talking with Ed Sudol. He has not crossed the line that will automatically mean a trip to the mound. He is changing the lineup now with Ed Sudol. Possibly there'll be a change in another position so they can switch the batting order around. The pitcher is due to bat second when the Padres come up in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Merv Rittman is walking over toward the Padre bullpen, the left fielder. And we're going to have a new ball player in the ball game in left field. Bobby Valentine from Stamford, Connecticut is going into the ball game, and he is going in at third, replacing Doug Rader. Rader made the last out as he attempted to stretch a single into a double in the bottom of the 5th inning. So the pitcher will bat, obviously, in Rader's batting position, the 7th, and Bobby Valentine, the third baseman, will be batting in the 9th batting position.
For the Padres, ladies and gentlemen.
So a new pitcher in the ball game, Brent Strom, coming in. This will be his 5th appearance. He's had 2 starts. His first one was against the Cincinnati Reds on April the 8th, which he lost.
At third base.
His only decision, his record 0-1. Lifetime against the Mets, he's won 1 and lost 3. His last two appearances have been in relief. His last time out was on the 24th. So a left-hander in the ball game, prize 11 going out. Has worked one complete inning. So far, he has not been charged with a run. He has given up 3 hits. Pardon me, he has been charged with a run. He has given up 3 hits, and one of them was his first pitch. It was a 3-run home run by Kingman. Let's check out the scoreboard now with Lindsey Nelson.
In the National League, Cincinnati beat Chicago by a score of 3-2. Woody Fryman over Bill Bonham. Houston beat Pittsburgh 11-3. Floyd Bannister over Jerry Royce. Joe Ferguson had 2 homers. The Cardinals beat Atlanta 5-2. Bob Porsche over Phil Necro. In the 4th, Dodgers nothing, Montreal nothing. It's Stanhouse against Tommy John. And in the 5th inning, San Francisco 4 and the Phillies 3. Steve Carlton against Jim Barr. Mark Hill hit a homer in the 3rd with nobody on his first of the year. In the American League, the Yankees beat Seattle 3-0. Ron Guidry over Stan Thomas. Thurman Munson had a homer. Boston beat Oakland 7-4. Ferguson Jenkins over Doc Ellis. A whole flock of home runs. Fisk, Mitchell Page, Wayne Gross, Yastrzemski, Scott, and Gross again. California beat Baltimore 3-2. Cleveland and Milwaukee. No information there. Texas beat Chicago 2-1. Alexander over Stone. We're just about ready to play, and again, here's Ralph Kiner.
All right, Lindsey Nelson and Mike Phillips, a left-hand batter, batting against the left-hander Brent Strom, who at one time was the New York Mets. Strom, a left-handed pitcher with a sinking fastball, and the first pitch is popped up into shallow right field. Winfield, the right fielder, moving up the ball, and he makes the catch. And Matlack holds at second base, as well as Lee Mazzilli at first. So 1 pitch and 2 men away now, and the batter will be Bruce Beauclair. Beauclair 3 for 3 in the ball game.
Number 4, Bruce
Beauclair hitting at .387. Bounced the base up the middle in the 1st inning. Singled through the middle in the 3rd, and then on a hit-and-run play, bounced the ball through the right side for his 3rd hit of the ball game. Beauclair with that wide stance, a left-hand batter, and Strom to the set position and the first pitch. Fastball too high for a ball. Mets leading 8-1. They have 8 runs on 11 hits. Padres have 1 run on 2. Brent Strom from the University of Southern California, and his pitch back is called a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Once again, Strom sets up, and the 1-1 pitch is hit in the air to center field. George Henrique is under the ball. He has an easy play, and his catch retires aside. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 men left on base, and the score. At the end of 5.5 innings, the New York Mets 8, the San Diego Padres 1.
Boy, there's one sure sign that spring is here and summer is on the way. It's a dollar sign.
Come on in. Come on in. Come on in to HFC.
The need for extra shopping money is a sure sign of spring and summer. And if you're not sure how to get it, come on into HFC for a shopper's loan. HFC, an equal opportunity lender.
Come on in.
New right fielder for the New York Mets, Mike Vail, coming in the ball game. Bruce Beauclair, who was playing right field, has moved over to left field where he has replaced John Milner. Mike Vail will bat in John Milner's batting position. And if you're keeping score, that would be the 5th batting position. John Milner back in the lineup again, had 2 hits and 3 times up tonight. Mets have had 8 runs on 11 hits. The Padres have had 1 run on 2 hits. And for the Padres, the leadoff batter will be the shortstop, Dave Roberts. Roberts got the first hit off John Matlack when he doubled on the left field side in the 3rd inning. The other base hit going to Doug Rader when he blooped the hit over the head of Dave Kingman and was out trying to stretch it into a double. So Dave Roberts, a right-hand batter, coming up. Roberts batting .238, and he takes the first pitch by Matlack. It's a called strike. John has struck out 6 in the ball game. He has been striking out a lot of batters so far this year. In 25 innings, he has struck out 22 batters. And the pitch back to Roberts is bunted hard. It is foul. Fielded by Roy Steger about 2/3 of the way down the line and just in foul territory. Ball really bunted too hard for a base hit. So it's a strike 2 count on the foul ball. Roberts was drafted by Toronto, and the Padres got him back when they traded Jerry Johnson to Toronto. Roberts batted .249 playing at Hawaii last year. He makes his way slowly back to home plate. Roy Steger, the third baseman, dropping back to a deep defensive position with the count at strike 2. Not many batters will bunt with a 2-strike count, although some have done it very well. If the ball goes foul, of course, you are automatically out. Fastball by John Matlack is fouled back against the screen. John high and tight with a good fastball, and it was fouled off. So the count remains at strike 2. Matlack has not had a complete game this year. Last year he pitched 6 shutouts, a tie for the league lead. Pitch back is grounded out towards Steger. A nice high one hopper. Roy has it, throws to first base where Kingman has to make a long stretch to take the throw that was up the line. Kingman stays on the bag and one away. That'll bring up Bobby Valentine.
Number 13, Bobby Valentine.
Valentine has been up 14 times this year with 2 hits. Bobby spent most of the year last year at Hawaii, the #1 farm club for the San Diego Padres, and batted over 300. And he hits the first pitch in the air to center field. Lee Mazzilli moves over to his right side and makes the catch. Now 2 men away, and the batter will be the left fielder, Merv Ruttman.
Number 17, Merv Ruttman.
Ruttman was called out on strikes, and in the third inning, he hit into a double play when he flied out to left field, and John Milner throwing to Roy Steger, and Steger relaying the ball on home. And the Mets threw out Dave Roberts to complete the double play. Roberts trying to score from third base. Ruttman batting at .250. 1 home run, 2 runs batted in. Last year batted .229 for the Padres. And the first pitch by Matlack is low and inside, a breaking ball for ball 1. Ruttman had some good years for Baltimore, but he has not been able to put it together in the National League. He came over to the National League, the Cincinnati Reds. 1-0 pitch, a fastball. It's taken high. 2 balls and no strikes.
Jack. Telephone.
And Matlack, who has walked 1, starts to wind up, and the 2-0 pitch, a called strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Matlack won 17 and lost 10 last year, and 3 of his victories were over the Padres. Next pitch is swung on and fouled back into the stands. A fastball fouled off, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Padres might not have scored in the third. Matlack did not field a ground ball that he could have fielded. It was not an error, as the second baseman Felix Millan fielded it in back of him to throw the runner out at first, and on the play, Doug Rader, who was on third, scored. If Matlack had fielded the ground ball back to him, Rader would not have been able to score. Next pitch is grounded foul on the third base side, and the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. John has won 75 ball games, lost 68. Lifetime against the Padres, he's won 7 of 10 decisions. Two and 2, the count on Merv Ruttman, the left fielder for the Padres. Ruttman has had 1 home run, driven in 2. He's been up 20 times this year. Has a peculiar swing. He has a sort of a dropped hand swing and then pushes at it. Has quite a hitch. Now a check swing, ground ball out toward third. Matlack picks it up, fires to first base, was not in time, and Ruttman beats out the hit. So Ruttman with an excuse me base hit. He tried to keep from hitting the ball, and on the check swing, hit it out to the third base side. Matlack coming over, got to it, but could not get the ball to first base in time for the out.
Number 10.
Third hit for the Padres that puts a runner at first base, and with 2 men out, Mike Champion is the next batter. Champion is 0 for 2 in this game, batting in .194 for the year. Right-hand batter with a closed stance. And the first pitch, a fastball over the inside corner, a called strike. Dave Kingman, the first baseman for the Mets, is playing about 6 steps off the bag, not holding against the runner. Mets leading 8-1. Madlack with his next delivery, and a fastball is swung on and fouled back into the stands. It's strike 2. Padres at home, and this is what is tough. They have won 2 and lost 8 in their own home ballpark so far this year. This is their first game against an Eastern Division ball club. All their action prior to this was in their own division. Of course, the same can be said reversed for the Mets. This is the Mets' first game against the Western Division. The Padres 2-8 at home. So far, it hasn't affected home attendance. They've averaged 27,141. Last year, they drew 1,458,478, and that was their best ever year. They're about 46,000 ahead of last year. And the 2-strike pitch, a fastball. It is just inside, right around the letters, and the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the Padres almost moved out of this area. They did not draw up to 700,000. Then they started to really go. And the next pitch is hit foul back into the stands on the first base side. So the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Metropolitan area here is over 1 million. Again, the 1-2 pitch. And Madlack misses low and inside. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. One of the difficulties that San Diego has is the fact that they're bordered, of course, by Mexico on the south, Pacific Ocean on the west, and mountains on the east. So their drawing area is really north. There's a line drive into center field. Mazzilli coasts back and makes an easy catch of the line drive by Mike Champion. That retires the side. No runs, the bloop base hit. A man left at first base, and the score at the end is 6. The New York Mets 8, the San Diego Padres 1.
If you are like me and you're worried about crime in your community, there's something you can do about it.
You're listening to Percy Sutton, Borough President of Manhattan.
You can join the auxiliary police. I joined the auxiliary police. I feel that I'm doing something for my community. I get a uniform that is furnished to me as it will.
That's 793-2727.
It's the top of the 7th inning. The Mets leading 8-1. They got 3 runs in the first and a 3-run home run by Dave Kingman. Another run in the third to make it a 4-0 ball game. In the third, they scored on a run batted in by Bruce Beauclair. And they added another run in the fourth inning, a home run by John Stearns, his second of the year, and 3 more in the fifth on Kingman's second 3-run home run. Mets have 8 runs on 11 hits. The Padres have 1 run on 3. And for the Mets, the leadoff batter, Dave Kingman. Kingman now has 6 home runs for the season. He has driven in 6 runs in this ball game, and he has 18 RBIs for the year. And the first pitch to Kingman by Brent Strom. Fastball way outside, ball 1. First time that Kingman has batted against the left-hander, Brent Strom, who came in the ball game in the 6th inning. Pitch back is swung on and missed, and Kingman with a big swing and no contact. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's 330 down the left field line, and a very high fence guards the home run area. Kingman's 2 home runs were deep back into the stands. There's a high fly ball to deep left center. Going back to left fielder Rettenman. He's under it right on the edge of the warning track, and he makes the catch on the warning track. A tremendously high fly ball by Dave Kingman for an out. So 1 away, and the batter coming up will be Mike Vail, batting for the first time.
Mike Vail.
Vail replacing John Milner in the batting order. John had a single and a double and 3 times up. Vail is hitting .250. He's been up 12 times this year with 3 hits. And the first pitch, a fastball by Brent Strom. It's outside for a ball. Game number 16 for the Mets. They have won 6 and lost 9. They're trying to stop a 4-game losing streak. Pitch back is a called strike at the knees. A fastball that's over. 1 ball and 1 strike. Padres have lost 5 in a row. They were devastated by the Dodgers, who beat them 4 straight. Now a curveball too low, and they count 2 balls and 1 strike. Dodgers off to that fast start, leading the Padres by 8.5 games already. Padres were looking at a chance to win a title for the first time. A fastball is swung on and fouled in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Padres got deep into the market of the free agents. Spent quite a bit of money. In fact, they spent more money than the United States government spent in acquiring the state of Alaska. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and Vail is struck out. Strom gets his first strikeout, and now with 2 men out, the batter will be John Stearns. The United States bought the territory then of Alaska for $7.2 million, and Ray Kroc, a philanthropist here in San Diego, who is the principal owner of the ball club, spent over that for the ball players he acquired in the free agent market. Changeup is outside to John Stearns. It's ball 1. Now the 1-0 pitch, and Stearns looks. Again, it's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. The economics of baseball certainly has changed. The 2-0 delivery, and it's inside. Fastball, it's low and inside. 3 balls and no strikes. Ray Kroc was very strongly into trying to sign Reggie Jackson as a free agent. Next pitch is high. It's ball 4, and Stearns walks. Kroc had a very interesting statement. He said in trying to sign up Reggie Jackson, he said that he thought that Reggie Jackson thought he was God.
Number 2, Roy.
Ray Kroc said, I knew he wasn't because I was. Now the batter coming up is Roy Steger. Roy is 0 for 3 in the game. Steger, right-hand batter, batting at an even 200. In the first pitch, a looper out toward right center field. It's over the head of the second baseman, Mike Champion. It's in for a base hit. Stearns goes around second and on to third, and Steger has his first hit of the ball game. Hit that right off the end of the bat. It was sort of a spinning, curving semi-line drive that was just out of reach. So Steger's on. The Mets have runners at first and third, and the batter coming up will be Bud Harrelson, who has 1 hit and 3 times up. Now out to the home plate area to check the lineup cards is McNamara, the manager of the San Diego Padres. At the moment, there's no one throwing in the bullpen for San Diego. This might be something dating back to the beginning of the ball game. On the original lineup, the Mets had Roy Steger batting in the 6th batting position and John Stearns batting in the 7th. And there could be, no, can't be now. It looks like we're making a change. Let's see what's happening now. They're coming out the field. The Mets have been batting out of order for the entire ball game. And earlier in the game, John Stearns hit a home run. They did not call it then.
Because you're well aware the opposing manager can wait to call their attention anytime he wants to. He doesn't have to call it immediately. He could have known it the whole game and simply waited until he called their attention to it. The Mets did bat out of turn the first time they came up in the first inning. And it has just now been called by McNamara. Ed Sudol has called them out for batting out of turn, and the inning is over.
Strangely enough, Lindsay, John Stearns, batting out of order in the 4th inning, hit a home run, and it was not called then.
That's exactly right. So it would appear that they were not aware of it until later on in the ball game. We were aware here simply of the fact that it was not the same lineup that we had, the one that was posted on the lineup wall when we were down there, but many times the lineup will be changed at the last moment, and word will not reach us. So we were aware that something had happened, but apparently it never was changed.
We certainly were aware of it because we had to change our scorecards up here. And, of course, you can bat totally out of order for the entire ball game. If it's not called by the opposing team, there is no penalty. But right now, McNamara has called the fact to the attention of the umpires when Roy Steger got that base hit into right center field. He loses the base hit.
The last time I remember a thing like this happening was when Harry Walker was managing the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Harry Walker had a lineup, and they batted out of turn at Shea Stadium. It was called to their attention, and Joe Brown, the general manager, was furious, I remember at the time. Shortly thereafter, Harry Walker departed.
And there is no question about the fact that did get him fired. That was the final blow. So right here, the Mets have been batting out of order throughout the entire ball game. In the first inning, when Stearns came up to bat and was batting out of order because he was batting in the 6th position, he had been posted in the original lineup in the 7th position. He hit into a double play. But in the 4th inning, hit a home run. And they did not call it then. And then again in the 5th inning he batted. They did not call it then. Steger had not had a base hit at all. And finally here, when Steger singled to right field with a runner on first base, they have called it. And the Padres are off the field in the inning. No runs, no hits. A walk and one man left on base, and the score at the end of 6.5 innings, it is the Mets 8 and the Padres 1. All you Met fans, but particularly those 15 years of age and under, will want to circle Saturday afternoon, June 18th on their calendar. That's when the Mets' 1977 Jacket Day is scheduled. And if last year is any indication, you want to make your ticket plans early. In 1976, when the first ever Jacket Day was held at Shea, over 53,000 people were in the stands. This year's Jacket Day promises to be another big event for a variety of reasons. The jacket that will be given away on June 18th is an improved model over last season's model. It's heavier and it has metal snaps. And this royal blue jacket is good looking too, as it's designed after the ones the players wear, with an orange New York on the left breast and the Met logo on the left shoulder. And there will be a large supply of small, medium, and large jackets on hand. That's Jacket Day at Shea on Saturday afternoon, June 18th, when the Mets face Bill Verdon's Houston Astros at 2:05 p.m. Remember, every boy and girl 15 years of age and under who buys a ticket and attends a game receives a Mets jacket. And while the fans here do not understand what is taking place because of the batting out of order of the Mets players, we'll pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
Hey, baby, what's happening? Find out with me, Ted Brown, afternoons from 4 to 8 p.m. with news and traffic and sports and music only on WNEW New York. We put a lot of life in your world. I hope to die if I lie.
Ralph Kiner along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy. And now the Mets are taking the field. It has been explained to them that Steger and Stearns were batting out of order. Now, the interesting part of all this is the fact that Stearns hit a home run, and they did not call it then. So evidently, they did not realize it until after the home run. So the Mets are taking the field.
Stearns spot and vice versa.
So changing now to the correct batting order, it will be Roy Steger batting 6th in the batting order, and John Stearns batting 7th. And they'll have to bat that way, or they'll be batting out of order again.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the Mets apparently are making a change as they have Mike Phillips moved over to third base. Steger is retiring to the dugout. There is no second baseman on the field at the present time for the New York Mets.
Mets have Lenny Randall, who has joined their ball club, and he is available to play. And now Phillips is taking the throws at third. Steger is walking slowly back out now to the third base position, and Phillips is crossing over to second.
And the cap is left squarely on the back. Steger's going out bareheaded. His cap, apparently he was wearing the hard hat from having batted, was on his head. Now he goes back and picks it up, so Steger's got to stay in at third, and Phillips now has moved back over to second.
Well, you seldom see this in the major leagues. It certainly has been done before, will be done again. It's sort of a common thing that happens in high school baseball.
I remember when it happened at Shea Stadium with Harry Walker that you had Al Barley, who at that time was senior umpire in the league, come in on China's corner and explain it. And I remember how clearly Al explained it. And every time it happens anywhere, majors, minors, there's always a great rhubarb about the rule. Who's out? The fellow who batted out of turn or the fellow who didn't bat in his turn? That sort of thing. I remember Barlick explained it so clearly.
Leading off the Padres.
And again, we'd like to point out the interesting thing is they waited this long to get into it.
Public address announcer covers it all by announcing to this huge crowd the Mets batted out of order.
Maybe that's the easy way out. Now it's Dave Winfield, the leadoff for the Padres. The Mets leading by a score of 8-1 in the first pitch to Winfield by John Matlack, a curveball. And it's too low for a ball. Winfield brought a 9-game hitting streak into this game. He is 0 for 2 tonight. And the pitch back, a curveball swung on a miss, 1 ball and 1 strike. Winfield, batting at .318 with a 9-game hitting streak, has 2 home runs and 16 runs batted in. One ball, one strike. And the pitch back by Matlack is popped up. Ball is on the second base side. Mike Phillips on the dirt part of the infield is under it, and he makes the catch. So Winfield is out for the 3rd time in this game. His batting streak is in jeopardy, and it brings up Gene Tennis. Tennis has been struck out twice by Matlack, both times on curveballs. John has struck out 6 in the game. He has walked 1. Mets have 8 runs on the board, 12 hits, and the Padres have 1 run on 3, and the pitch back is fouled back at strike 1. Actually, the Mets have 11 base hits in the ball game. And the left-hander's next pitch, it is a fastball over, called strike 2. Gene Tennis, a right-hand batter, and the next pitch is looped out into right field off the hands. Another blue base hit. Tennis goes to first base and holds there. 4th hit for the Padres. Tennis gets his first. He was batting .244 before the base hit with 19 runs batted in. And that brings up the center fielder, George Hendrick. George Hendrick has been struck out twice. 1 time on a fastball, 1 time on a curve. Hendrick batting at .317 with 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. Right-hand batter. Bats from a closed batting stance deep in the batter's box. And Matlack with his first pitch, fastball. He had him in on the hands, a swing and a miss, strike 1. And Matlack with his next delivery, and he misses high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kingman playing off the bag at first base with Tennis running, and the Padres trailing by 7. 2 big 3-run home runs by Dave Kingman tonight, his 5th and 6th of the year. Pitch back, a curve is swung on and grounded foul. So the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. John Stearns, who has had a home run, sending the signs out, and here's the pitch. It's hit hard and off of the glove of Roy Steger out in the left field. That should go as a base hit, and it is. And the Padres have runners at first and second as Hendrick gets his first hit of the ball game. Now with 2 men on and 1 out, the batter will be the first baseman, Mike Ivy.
Number 15, Mike Ivy.
Ivy has struck out and flied out to right. Right-hand batter hitting .270 with 1 home run and 9 runs batted in. And the first pitch to Ivy. Curveball hit hard to third. It's knocked down by Steger. He scrambles for it, finds it, picks it up near the third base bag, and steps in the bag for the force play. Steger fighting that ball off, got his hands on it to knock it down, and fortunately it rolled near the bag where he could pick it up and step on the bag for the force play there against Gene Tennis. So the second out of the inning as Hendrick moves on down to second, and Ivy takes over at first on the force play, and the batter coming up will be a pinch hitter for the pitcher. And it's going to be Gary Sutherland. Gary Sutherland, an infielder, batting for the pitcher here with 2 men out in the bottom half of the 7th inning. The Mets leading by an 8-1 score. Sutherland batting at .625. He's had 5 hits and 8 times up. Right-hand batter. And the first pitch is swung on and grounded foul. Gary Sutherland, the batter, and the count at strike one. Skip Lockwood is now throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. Right-hander Skip Lockwood. Vic Bernal, a right-hander, throwing in the bullpen for the Padres. Next pitch is swung on and fouled back into the stands, and the count now at strike two. So John Matlack out in front with a two-strike count.
With one walk and one strikeout.
Brent Strom will be going out of the ball game with Sutherland batting for him in this situation. Strom worked 1 2/3 innings, gave up no runs, no hits, walked one, struck out one. Home plate umpire Ed Sudol wanted to check the ball out and did. Now comes back behind home plate. And Matlack takes the sign, goes to the set position, and here's the pitch. It is inside on a swing and a miss and strike three. And Matlack gets his 7th strikeout as he strikes out the pinch hitter Gary Sutherland. That retires the side. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. And the score at the end of 7, the Mets 8, the Padres 1.
From first beer to your last, it goes straight to your thirst. Beer after beer, the same great taste in Schaefer. Your last one, oh, it tastes as good as your first.
Schaefer consistency starts with country pure water. Heading for the Schaefer Brewery in Lehigh Valley. There's Schaefer's Kreuzen Brew. That's brewing twice. For over 130 years, it's given Schaefer a smooth, crisp, consistently great taste. Schaefer consistency. Put it to the test. You'll find your last one taste as good as your first.
Beer after beer, the same great taste in Schaefer. Your last one, oh, it tastes as good as your first.
Schaefer Brewing Company, Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania.
We're going now to the top of the 8th inning. The Mets leading by a score of 8-1. They have 8 runs on 11 hits, no errors, and the Padres 1 run. And they have had 5 base hits and 1 error. Bud Harrelson stepping up to the batter's box and coming in now for the play-by-play, Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Ralph Connor. Hello, everybody. Bud Harrelson coming up to lead it off now here in the top half of the 8th inning. The Mets out in front by a score of 8-1. Harrelson is a switch hitter batting left. And here's a pitch by Bernal that is high and away for a ball. Vic Bernal in to do the pitching now for the San Diego Padres. As Brent Strom was removed for the pinch hitter. Pitcher of record, of course, is Rick Sawyer, who started. Here's a pitch outside for a ball. John Matlack is moved up on deck. Again, the sign is being sent out by Tennyson. Here is the pitch. Over the top of Harrelson's head, and it is a ball. 3-0 the count. In case you've joined us along the way, Dave Shingman has had 2 3-run homers here tonight. He has knocked in 6 runs. And last time up, he sent the left fielder Merv Rettenman way out into the warning track in left. This will be a 3-0 delivery now. Bernal delivers, and it is high and away for a ball. So it's a walk. They should have Bud Harrelson. That will bring up Matlack in a sacrifice circumstance.
Number 32.
The last half inning ended when John McNamara, the manager of the San Diego Padres, called the attention of the umpires to the fact that the Mets had been batting out of order. And as Ralph Connor explained, they had been batting out of order since the start of the ball game, since the first inning. But when a man bats out of order, if the attention is not called before the first pitch to the succeeding batter, it becomes legal. Here's a ground ball to second. Taken by Champion over to Roberts on to Ivy. Double play. Matlack Swinging away, hit into a double play from 4-6 to 3. Mike Champion, Dave Roberts to Mike Harvey. 2 away. And that will bring up Lee Mazzilli, who is giving Matlack time to get back. We're in the top half of the 8th inning.
Number 16, Lee Mazzilli.
Lee Mazzilli slowly coming up to the plate now. The man who is called out in a circumstance such as the New York Mets one is the batter who did not bat in his proper turn. According to the batting orders that are submitted to the umpires before the start of the ball game. Here's a pitch in for a called strike. When an improper batter, say the official rules, becomes a runner or is put out and the defensive team appeals to the umpire before the first pitch to the next batter of either team, or before any player attempted play, the umpire shall declare the proper batter out. Pitch is in for a strike, and now the 0-2 delivery is in there for a called strike 3 on 3 pitches. Mazzilli is caught looking. First strikeout for Bernal, who runs off the mound. Side is retired. Nobody left. And in the middle of the 8th inning, the score is the Mets 8 and the Padres 1.
I've got so many old bills, I can't even afford to have spring fever.
Come on in, come on in, come on in to HFC.
If bills are getting you down, come on into HFC. With a bill payer loan, you could be making just one payment that could be less than the total you're making now. HFC, an equal opportunity lender.
Come on in, come on in, come on in to HFC. You can use our money to get where you want to be. So come on in, come on in, come on in to HFC.
Household Finance, where people use our money to get the most out of life.
Come on in to HFC.
At Household Finance, you may borrow up to $2,500 and choose from a wide variety of repayment loans. For a large or small loan, call HFC in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut. See your phone book for the Household Finance office nearest you.
Leading off the Padres, number 3.
And now, Dave Roberts is coming up to lead it off for the Padres in the bottom half of the 8th inning. To this point, the New York Mets 8 runs on 11 hits and no errors, and the Padres 1 run on 6 hits and 1 error. Dave Roberts is the number 8 man in the order. He is followed by Bobby Valentine, who is batting 9th in the current Padre batting order. Here's John Matlack into the motion, kicks and fires. The pitch is high for a ball. It's 1-0. Matlack has struck out 7 and he's walked 9 here tonight, making a bid for his first win of the 1976 season. Again, he kicks and fires, and the pitch rides in there high for a ball. Just a little high, says plate umpire Ed Sudol. 2-0 the count now. And here's the 2-0 delivery. That's in for a called strike. It's 2-1. Cincinnati Reds today beat the Chicago Cubs 3-2. Here's a 2-1 pitch, foul back and out of play. Woody Fryman got the win. Bill Bonham took the loss. Houston defeated Pittsburgh by a score of 11-3. Floyd Bannister the winner and Jerry Royce the loser. Joe Ferguson had 2 home runs in the ball game. Here is the pitch. Swung on and it is popped up. At second base, Mike Phillips is there, makes the play. So there's 1 away. And that'll bring up Bobby Valentine. Bobby Valentine from Stamford, Connecticut. Obviously, as far as the rhubarb is concerned about the Mets batting out of order, the Padres were not aware of it at the earlier times in the ballgame. Here's a swing and a drive up the alley in left center, and Mazzilli goes over to make the catch. Lee Mazzilli over to make the grab. 2 men are out, and that'll bring up Merv Rettenmund. Paid attendance here tonight, 43,497. 43,497 paid. in the ballpark here tonight. That is the paid attendance, and there are a good many guests here. Here's the pitch now, and it is taken by Merv Rettenman outside for a ball.
I'm going to get a report on Felix Millan. The X-rays were negative, so his thumb that was injured when he was hit by a pitch ball was not broken.
That is good news. Here's a curveball in there for a called strike to Rettenman. The Padres are batting in the bottom of the eighth inning. 2 men out, nobody on base. The Mets are leading by a score of 8-1. Here is Matlack with a 1-1 delivery. Low and inside for a ball. We started to say that obviously the Padres were not aware that the Mets were batting out of turn early stages of the ball game, or they would have called attention to that fact when Stearns hit a home run.
Final report on beyond the X-rays that were taken of the
now a 2-1 delivery.
wrist and thumb were negative.
Swung on and on the ground up the middle. Harrelson over can't get it. It's going through for a base hit. Backed up by Mazzilli on the outfield grass. He plays it back, and Merv Rettenman has his second hit of the night. Ground ball base hit through into center field, and that brings up Mike Champion.
Number 10, Mike Champion.
2 men out and a runner now at first base. St. Louis Cardinals beat Atlanta 5-2. Bob Forsch the winner and Phil Necro the loser. In the bottom of the fifth inning, the Dodgers up at Dodger Stadium are leading Montreal 1-0. Here's the pitch. And it's in there for a called strike. Don Stanhouse is pitching tonight for Montreal. He's 1-2. And Tommy John's going for the Dodgers. 0-1. The Dodgers have won 13 of their last 14 games. Off and running with a roaring start under their new manager, Tom Lasorda. And the Mets will be up there at Dodger Stadium Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights. Here's a pitch swung on and missed, swung at a high, hard one. Up at Candlestick in San Francisco, the Phillies are now leading the Giants 6-4 in the eighth inning. Steve Carlton, 2-1 against Jim Barr, 3-1. Dave Haverlow has just come in, and Mark Hill hit his first home in the third with nobody on. Here's a pitch swung on and missed, struck him out, strikeout number 8 for John Matlack tonight. Sad is retired. There was a hit and one left, and at the end of 8 innings, the score is the Mets 8 and the Padres 1.
Nowadays, you can't listen to radio, watch television, or read a newspaper without some auto manufacturer telling you what great gas mileage his car gets. They quote the EPA, tell you how many miles per gallon they get in the city, and how many they get on the highway. Well, all these facts are great to know. But if there's anything you need as much as cars that make your gasoline go a little further, it's a gasoline that makes your dollar go a little further. At the Getty Oil Company, we have a new gasoline that's perfect for newer cars. Getty Unleaded Regular, with the octane performance of regular and the clean running smoothness of unleaded. But most important, we sell Getty Unleaded Regular for less than most other major unleadeds. So now you can choose a car that gives you more miles for your money and a gasoline. Getty Premium and new Getty Unleaded Regular. We've got what's best for your car.
We'll be going now to the top of the ninth inning. Mike Phillips is up to lead it off with the Mets batting in the ninth. There is a divergence of opinion between the official scorer and apparently the umpires on the field as to the exact technical details of the batter batting out of turn for the New York Mets that ended the seventh inning. No doubt of the fact that the batter did bat out of turn, but as to which one is called out and that sort of thing, here's a pitch low, and the count is now 2-0 to Mike Phillips. The official scorer has a version, and he has not been able to contact the umpires on field. So there will be a post-game assemblage here to straighten that one out. Here's a swing and a drive out into right field, and it's one hop, a base hit. Dave Winfield up with it, plays it back, and Mike Phillips has led off the ninth inning with a single to right. And that'll bring up Bruce Beauclair. Bruce Beauclair had base hits his first 3 times up tonight, and then flied to center. He is 3 for 4. Dave Kingman has moved up on deck. Phillips takes his lead at first base, and here's a pitch inside low for a ball. It's 1-0. Paid attendance is 43,497. plus 2,300 members of the safety patrol here as guests of the ball club. Now again, the pitch, and it's in there for a called strike.
Lindsay, that's an all-time high for the Mets drawing here in San Diego. That's the biggest crowd they have played to in this ballpark.
We have played seasons here, Ralph, and not drawn this in aggregate. That pitch is in there for a called strike. 1-2. It was a struggle in the early years for the Padres, but they have certainly turned it around, and baseball interest is running rampant in San Diego, California. 1-2 now. And here is the pitch that is high for a ball, so it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Mets are leading by a score of 8-1. They got off to an early start when Kingman hit a 3-run homer in the first inning. He hit another 3-run homer in the 5th inning of this ball game. Again, the pitch swung on, hit on the ground, wide of first. Ivy has it, goes across to Roberts. He drops the ball, and nobody's covering third. Phillips now goes to third base because the third baseman had to back up the throw. And another error for Dave Roberts, and the crowd is unhappy. Dave Roberts has had a hard night and might want to leave here incognito at the finish of the ball game. He moved over to take Ivy's throw and simply dropped the ball, and he's charged with an error. Into the bargain, he has failed to get the ground balls up the middle. He was thrown out at the plate trying to tag and score after the catch, and was out on a throw that had to be relayed in from the third baseman. Dave Kingman up with 2 men on now. Kingman has hit 2 into the seats here tonight. Padres now determining whether or not they're going to play the infield up, and they are. They're playing up the left side. Off the stretch now, the pitch, and it's taken high and away.
I think there ought to be a special occasion for a third baseman and shortstop to be playing in against Kingman. They should get extra compensation or at least another insurance policy.
They were not in favor of the move. They came up slowly, deliberately, and unwillingly. Here's a pitch swung on and missed. It's 1-1. Runners at first and third.
Third baseman sort of pointed at himself and said, "You mean me?"
Yes. Now he's retreating a few steps. Here is a pitch swung on and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. The count to Dave Kingman. They've got the second baseman up on the edge of the grass, although he is not in what is called the Kingman shift. He stays on the second base side. 1-2, the count to the big right-hand batter. There is nobody out as the Mets bat here in the ninth. Here's the pitch. Way outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kingman. Mike Vail is waiting on deck. Runners take their leads at first and third. Pitch is swung in on the ground to third. Taken by Bobby Valentine. Goes over to second for 1, and that's all. There's no advance. At third, as Phillips has the hole there. Kingman becomes the runner at first. Beauclair is forced on a play that went from Bobby Valentine to Mike Champion. 1 away. So it's still runners first and third, and now Mike Vail is coming up. He's been up 1 time, and he struck out. And the delivery is low and away for a ball. Mike Phillips is the runner at third. Dave Kingman is the runner at first. And this time, Steger moves out on deck to bat in his proper turn. They're going to take a look at the ball now. It is tossed in to catch a tennis who flips it up to Ed Sudol, brushes it off a time or two, and leaves it in play. If the Mets had batted this time, or whenever, in the same order they've been batting in, they'd still be out of turn, and it could be called again. Here's the pitch in for a call strike. You can't change the batting order once it is given to the umpire before the start of the ballgame. That's what that meeting at the plate is all about, the exchange of lineup cards, and that is the only official lineup. Here's a swing and a miss. 1-2, the count now to Vail. Runners at first and third. Here's a 1-2 pitch, swung on and fouled off. The worst and most complex situation I remember ever hearing about with regard to batting orders was one Fred Haney told me about a few years ago. Haney was managing the St. Louis Browns a number of years ago. They exchanged the lineup cards. He put the opposing team's lineup card in his hip pocket. The home manager decided he had made a mistake in making it out. Went back up to the plate and gave the umpire another batting order. The umpire did not give Haney a copy of it. So the visiting manager and the plate umpire had one lineup, and Haney had another lineup, all purporting to be official. He waited until a proper time, called what he thought was an improper batting order, and then they all came out to compare batting orders. I don't know how it ever came out. This will be a 1-2 pitch. Swung on, line into center field for a base hit. Mike Phillips comes down the line to score. And Kingman is around second on his way to third. Bale takes the turn and holds with a single left and a run batted in. The Mets are leading by a score of 9-1. RBI for Mike Vail. And now Steger comes up batting in the proper place in the batting order for the first time tonight.
Number 2, Roy Steger.
Steger's a right-hand batter. And here's the pitch. It is in there for a called strike. National League President Chub Feeney has encouraged members of the umpiring staff to go into detail with media representatives on situations such as this and explain to them exactly what the official ruling is, or at least exactly what the ruling is that has been made. Again, the pitch. Swung on and missed. It took John McNamara and the umpires, all four of them, a little while out there on the field in conference and in concert before they arrived at the decision of exactly what had transpired. 2-strike count to Roy Steger. Here's a pitch. Low and off the foot of Ed Sudol. And now moving on down to second is Vail. He is out at second base. Mike Vail out at second base. A ball that hits an umpire is in play. A ball that hits an umpire is in play. And that one hit Ed Sudol. He's still limping around behind the plate. But the ball was retrieved by Gene Tennis. And Mike Vail has been thrown out. Now Bruce Fromming walking in, and Vail is staying at the bag at second. Now he's coming off. He's out. And he's coming off the field. There is always a belief on the part of many when a ball strikes an umpire that the ball is dead, but that's not true. The umpires are coming in to see about their leader, Ed Sudol, who not only is the captain of this umpiring crew, but is also senior umpire in the National League. Vail goes back to first base, and could have been a foul ball call, but I don't think so. We'll find out in a minute. This is one ball game that should have been broadcast in field level. Sudol is now walking around, and Denny Summers, the first base coach, is walking down toward the plate. Vail is anchored to the bag at first. The only thing that would make him alive would be a foul ball call, and we didn't see that. Of course, Sudol wasn't making calls of any kind at that time. He was an act of self-preservation. Summers is talking to the umpires and saying, what about it? And they say to Vail, get off of there and get in the dugout. So now Vail comes across the infield, goes to the dugout. He was out at second base. Holding at third, meanwhile, is David Kingman. There are two men out, and it's a 2-strike count. 1 and 2 is the count. To Steger at the plate. Scoreboard has lost count of that. And here is the pitch. Check swing, foul ball. Kingman comes down the line. Now he's sent back. It is a foul ball. Dave Tomlin is up and throwing now. Tomlin's throwing in the bullpen for the San Diego Padres. The Mets are leading in the game 9-1. We are in the top half of the 9th inning. And Sudol's trying to get the count corrected on the scoreboard without much success. Scoreboard operator concedes 1 strike, but he won't put up the second one. The count's 1 and 2. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled off to the right side out of play. Now I think it'll get corrected. 1 and 2. John Stearns is on deck. Kingman leads down the line from third. Pitch is high and tight. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The crowd has begun to entertain itself here tonight. They're up and standing all around the ballpark, peering here, peering there, for whatever purpose. Here's a pitch. Swung out and missed. Struck him out to retire the side. But the New York Mets picked up a run. There were 2 hits, there was an error, and there were 2 left. And in the middle of the 9th inning, the score is the Mets 9 and the Padres 1.
It's the sale of the season. It's Channel's exciting spring super sale with super savings on hundreds and hundreds of timely items for your home and family. You'll save big dollars on lawn and garden needs, lumber and paneling, insulation, electrical supplies, fencing, housewares, patio furniture, plumbing, and much, much more. I could go on, but you simply have to see it all for yourself. So hurry to your nearest Channel Home Center today for sensational savings. Don't miss it.
You asked for it, you got it, Toyota.
Hey, Toyota, you got a sporty Corolla with a new functional lift-back rear door?
You got it. A great-looking, money-saving new Corolla with a work-saving rear door that opens wide for easy loading and a fold-down split rear seat that lets you carry 3 people and up to 15 bags of groceries. If you can find a better-built small car than Toyota, buy it.
Hey, save a Corolla for me.
You asked for it, you got it, Toyota.
We're going now to the bottom of the 9th inning. John Madlock making a bid for his first win of the 1976 season. And it'll be Dave Winfield, Gene Tennis, and George Hendrick to bat here in the 9th for the San Diego Padres. Now, we'll be back here again tomorrow night. We'll bring you radio coverage at 9:55 p.m. New York time. And we'll bring you television coverage at 10 p.m. New York time tomorrow night. Tom Seaver will go for the New York Mets. Randy Jones. A big, big matchup here in San Diego, California.
Leading off the Padres.
Here's Winfield coming up now.
Winfield.
He's gone 0 for 3, and his 9-game hitting streak is on the line. Winfield is hitting .318 for the season. Big right-hand batter in and waiting. Madlock has struck out 8 and walked none so far tonight. He's into the motion, kicks and fires, and the pitch is swung on and missed. It's strike 1. Outfield defense is straight away. Correct those totals we gave you on Madlock. He walked 1. Walked 1 in the 3rd inning. So it's 8 strikeouts and 1 walk tonight. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Curveball, missed high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers got another run in the bottom of the 5th, so up at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Bottom of the 6th inning. Dodgers 2, Montreal nothing. Stenhouse against Tommy John. Swinging a drive way back in left. It's going for Winfield. And it's gone for a home run. Dave Winfield keeps his hitting streak alive, and he hits a home run into the seats in left field. And the score is the Mets 9 and the Padres 2. For Winfield, his 3rd home run of the year, and he hit it on a 1-1 pitch into the seats in left.
Number 18,
Gene Tennis is coming up. Tennis is 1 for 3. Madlock again steps up onto the rubber to start to work. The pitch is in for a call strike. We're getting Bob Myrick up and throwing in the bullpen now for the Mets. Bob Myrick is throwing in the Met bullpen now, the left-hander. John Stearns flashes a sign to John Madlock, and the pitch comes inside low to Gene Tennis. Pitcher Jackson Todd, who went back to Tidewater, will be joining the Mets in Los Angeles. Here's a 1-1 pitch, and it is tipped back into the glove of John Stearns for a strike. Lenny Randall, who joined the Mets here tonight and is eligible to participate, has not seen any action here tonight. Manager Joe Frazier said before the ball game he doubted that Randall would get into action. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Inside for a ball. Counts 2-2. Although Randall says that he is in good shape, that he worked out during the time of his suspension from the Texas Rangers. This will be a 2-2 pitch, and it's on the way. Swung on and missed. Struck him out. Nice strikeout.
Number 25,
George Hendrick. Coming up now. He is 1 for 3. Hendrick bats number 5 in the order. Sunday afternoon, Craig Swan will be going for the New York Mets, and Bob Shirley for the Padres. Pitch is high. We'll be broadcasting and televising Sunday afternoon. Game time, 1 p.m. here in San Diego, 4 p.m., of course, in New York. Madlock again is set to work. Fastball swung on and missed. Hendrick around. Against the Dodgers, starting Monday night, it'll be Jerry Koosman for the Mets. And then they'll follow with Nino Espinosa, and then John Madlock, and then Tom Seaver for the 4 consecutive night games in Los Angeles. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. 1-2. The operator of the scoreboard has given up any effort to keep track of balls and strikes. Now here is the pitch. Swung on and lays foul up the left field line. Down into the corner and out of play. Hendrick got around and drilled it, but to no avail. Madlock again is checking. This is a 1-2 pitch, and it's on the way. Swung on and missed, struck him out. Strikeout number 10 for John Madlock tonight.
Number 15, Mike Ivey.
His career total, Madlock's strikeouts in a game, is 12 in 1974 against the San Francisco Giants. He has struck out 10 so far tonight. There are 2 men out in the 9th inning. Up there is Mike Ivey, and here's the pitch. Low for a ball. So this will have been a very satisfying night for Big John Madlock, who was a little bit frustrated from the start of the season. Came in here with an 0-2 record. Pitch is outside for a ball. But tonight, he has struck out 10, walked 1, and has a 9-2 lead. Here in the bottom of the 9th inning with 2 men out and nobody on base. No action in the bullpen now. It is all stopped. The bullpen crew has turned to watch. There's a swing and a ground ball going through the hole in the left for a base hit. Picked up by Beauclair on the outfield grass and played back. Mike Ivey with a ground ball base hit. Jerry Turner. Jerry Turner coming up now.
Number 20, Jerry.
As a pinch hitter. Batting for Vic Bernal, Jerry Turner. Turner's hitting .203, has 2 homers and 8 runs batted in. No effort being made, of course, to hold the runner, with the Mets having a 9-2 lead here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Pitching for Bernal was 2 innings, giving up 2 hits, 1 run.
And the pitch swung on and foul back.
2 strikeouts.
Bernal works 2 innings of the ball game here tonight. Madlock takes a sign from John Stern, sets it up again. Now the pitch. Swung on and hit off the end of the bat down to third. Taken by Steger. Guns it across and the game is over. As the play goes, third to first, Jerry Turner grounded out, and the New York Mets have won the ball game. John Madlock is getting congratulations all around for a complete game victory, his first of the season. And the New York Mets have opened up their road trip by defeating the San Diego Padres. We'll be back with the final summary and totals in a moment. Right now, the final score of the game is the Mets 9, the Padres 2.
This is Bob Hope here, asking you to pause, think, and act. A lot of very important people need your help and need it now. I'm talking about the young Americans who serve in our armed forces, and I'm talking about the USO. Your only civilian link with them around the world. Although most of the young men and women who attended my overseas shows are home now, they've been replaced by others who need the kind of assistance, friendship, and support only USO provides. USO can make a difference in their lives. USO is non-profit. It's independent. It's civilian. USO is a volunteer effort that not only continues to send entertainers around the world, but helps keep the doors open to 130 USO centers, both overseas and here at home. I urge you to give generously to USO. Do it for the millions of men and women who serve our nation in the toughest kind of assignments. Do it for yourself. You'll feel better. Thank you.
Give to the USO through the United Way or local USO campaign.
And now to the accompaniment of fireworks, here is Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Lindsey Nelson. Well, the Mets stopped their 4-game losing streak on the home runs by Dave Kingman. Kingman got a 3-run home run in the first inning for the first 3 runs for the Mets, and he followed with another 3-run home run in the 5th inning. Also getting the home run was John Stearns. In spite of the fact that he was batting out of order, it was not called. John getting his 2nd home run. Later on in the ball game, it was Steger who was batting out of order. They had reversed themselves somehow in the batting order and had been batting out of order through the first 6 innings of play. But it was called on Steger. He had a single, and he lost the base hit. So the Mets won it on the strong hitting of Dave Kingman with 6 runs batted in. Dave had 2 home runs. He was up a total of 5 times. We'll be back with more of the wrap-up in just 1 minute right after this message.
Before you need his money, come on into HFC. Come on in, come on in, come on in to HFC.
For nearly 100 years, HFC has tried to bring you the best service possible, to be friendly, fast, and convenient. And we're usually just around the corner. And if there's ever any way we can improve ourselves, just let us know.
Come on in, come on in, come on in to HFC.
HFC, an equal opportunity lender.
So come on in, come on in, come on in to HFC.
Household Finance, where people use our money to get the most out of life.
Come on in to HFC.
At Household Finance, you may borrow up to $2,500 and choose from a wide variety of repayment loans. For a large or small loan, call HFC in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut. See your phone book for the Household Finance office nearest you.
John Madlock getting his first complete game, his first win of the year. John now with a record of 1-2. John pitching a strong ball game, and as Lindsey pointed out, striking out a total of 10 batters while giving up 2 runs on just 8 base hits. He walked 1 batter, and that did allow the Padres to score a run in the early part of the ball game. At one point, the Mets were leading by a score of 4-1 when Stearns hit his home run to make it 5-1. He was batting out of order, but John McNamara, the manager of the ball club, the San Diego Padres, did not call it, so the home run counted, as you have to call that play before the next pitch is made to the next batter. Losing pitcher was Rick Sawyer, the starter for the San Diego Padres. His record now 1-2. Game played in 2 hours, 40 minutes, and the Padres now have lost 6 in a row. Their record 8 wins and 14 losses. The Mets winning their 7th ball game. They have lost 9, and tomorrow it's going to be another night ball game, and it'll be Tom Seaver on the mound against Randy Jones. The line score of the ball game, the Mets 9 runs, 13 hits, no errors, and 6 men left on base. San Diego 2 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors, and 5 men left on. Once again, the final score, the Mets 9, the San Diego Padres 2.
In the Schaefer Met Player of the Year competition, Dave Kingman gets 5 points for 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in. John Madlock gets 3 for his first win of the year. Bruce Beauclair gets 2 for 3 base hits. And now, here's the Getty unleaded player for this game. He got the lead out. He's a regular guy, and his name is Dave Kingman, who had 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in to win this award for the night. For his efforts, Dave Kingman receives Getty gift certificates, good towards the purchase of Getty unleaded regular. Mets baseball has been brought to you by Household Finance, the company that has solved more financial problems for more people than anyone else in their business. So come on in to HFC Household Finance. Schaefer beer. Your last one tastes as good as your first. Astoria Federal Savings, one of the fastest growing savings institutions in the nation. Getty Premium and Getty Unleaded Regular, the higher octane gasoline with a lower price. By Dairy Lee, brought to you by the good folks of Dairy Lee, famous over 50 years for fresh dairy products. By Toyota. Toyota hopes you've enjoyed tonight's New York Mets game. You asked for it, you got it. And by Channel, it's a whole lot more than a lumber store. Our statistician tonight, Arthur Friedman. Our engineer, Al Becerra. We'll be back tomorrow night at 9:55 p.m. New York time to again bring you the New York Mets and the San Diego Padres. Until then, speaking for Ralph Canner and Bob Murphy, this is Lindsey Nelson saying so long. Right now, back to the studios of WNEW 1130 in New York.